Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the grand finale of Solidarity E-Race 2020. What an incredible week we've had, and we are looking forward to making sure that everybody walks away with the prizes now. Sash, as Sasha Martinengo joins me, Greg Maloney, the voice of choice. Sash, are you excited as I am? Because I've just been into our Discord channel, into the driver's room, and those boys are very, very nervous.
Well, I must say, a very good evening, fellow inmates. Welcome to the finale, Solidarity E-Race 2020. We got 25 competitors. They're all in Park for May. They're nervous. The tension is palpable. They're getting ready for 2 races this evening. Greg, it's been just electrifying over the last couple of days, and last night with the 4 semi-finals, and of course the 5-lap sprint race that we had at the end was just so much fun. The amount of reaction, the positivity about it has been incredible. So I think we're in for something rather extraordinary over the next couple of hours.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, if we just take into account last night's interaction and engagement on all social media platforms went nearly to the 55,000 impression mark. Nearly 27,000 people reached, over 10,000 video views, and just over 7,000 engagements. And that's just on the 4 platforms that we shared. And of course, when everybody else got onto it this morning and liked and shared it and passed it on to all the other platforms that are out there, it's grown exponentially, as it always does. And over the 4 channels that we shared it on, we've had almost 15,500 views as well over the last 24 hours. So it's just getting monstrous. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's wonderful to see. It's amazing how many people have embraced it. Also, people who are not involved in gaming or actually in any kind of racing, who are just fans of motorsport, who all of a sudden have clicked on to watching and have got themselves very, very absorbed into our first sort of e-race, and very much a customized race for South Africa, which has been terrific. So well done to Solidarity E-Race for putting this together. And let's hope, Greg, it's the first of many.
Yeah, massive thanks again to our guys from AfriHost, Data Science Corporation, Pure Storage, and NEC. And in fact, as I get into that, I'm going to quickly just get onto a WhatsApp call, because we are going to be going live to the man from NEC Global. That's Francois Remy Monnier. I'm just going to pull him up on my call here quickly so we can get hold of him and have a chat to him about why NEC Global, where has he gone to? There he is. Why NEC Global has joined into this and seen it as a possibility of a massive sponsorship, which they've given. So just stand by as I get hold of him quickly. We're going all the way to France, if I'm not mistaken. Let's have a look and see if he picks up here quickly.
Yeah, it's wonderful to have, of course, NEC have been involved in motorsport for many, many years, a big sponsor of Sauber for quite a few years as well. So they know this field extremely well.
Good evening, Francois. Are you well? Let me just give you a little bit of extra. I'm not quite sure what's going on here now.
Let's go. Amazing.
There we go. Hang on. There we go. We got it. Hello? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm with you guys.
Fantastic. Francois, and we didn't get to you last night, so a big welcome from all of us here in South Africa and everybody watching worldwide for our Solidarity E-Race.
Yeah, I mean, what you guys have done is incredible, and we are very proud to be with you to have this event. Really, hands down.
From NEC Global's point of view, Sash has just said, you guys have been involved with the sport of Formula One for a while with the team and Sauber, but this is a whole different ball game. So, kind of a new playing area for you guys to be involved in, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's really something interesting. NEC also, like 30 years ago, we were the first company to invent the first gaming machine, even before Nintendo. So it's like the good old time where you were able to play some games on some NEC kits. So it's really interesting to see how the world is turning.
And it certainly is, sir. I mean, if you look at the interaction that we've had, we just mentioned how many people engage with us and how many impressions we've made. And of course, the video views that we've had on social media worldwide and all platforms. It means that a brand like yours, this is kind of a target market, I'm sure, for you guys, if you see how gaming is growing worldwide.
Yes, definitely. And also what is quite interesting is that NEC is in Japan and in other territories, highly involved with the young generations in terms of providing tools. We are one of the biggest provider of telco solutions as well. And as we are working remotely, as we are enjoying video games, you need to have a strong telco backbones, even satellite communication, which is what the company does. So it's very good. And it's also perfect in line with our social values as well.
Which is wonderful news. Francois, amazingly, I wasn't aware that NEC made the first sort of console of gaming. From what you have seen and what you guys experience in your world of technology, I mean, how impressed are you with the technology and the graphics and the maneuverability of today's quality of games? For example, what the guys are playing in our Solidarity E-Race.
Well, personally, I'm amazed. I mean, I would not say I'm old. I'm only 50, but I still really remember the first game on the Atari.
Yes.
So when you see all of this, you can only be amazed. And also the fact it's very fluid. There is no. I mean, you really have the impression of driving a car. So it's impressive what the technology has been able to bring us.
It is. It's pretty impressive how things have. Oh, what's going on there now? Sorry about that. How things have changed from, as you say, from Atari and Space Invaders, sort of in the corner cafes and the coffee shops of Europe, and now moving on to where you can literally go global and race against people from all around the world at different times and different places. Yes. Fortunately, we're in a situation with lockdown that's helped that out a little bit. But even when lockdown's not around, there is a massive, massive growth in the gaming market.
Yes. And we have some, but I will not go tonight, but we have some specific stuff for it. But also, I mean, for this race to happen in South Africa, even makes us even prouder. I've raced personally on the Calami race, and I know it's not an easy track. And when I see all the guys out there performing, it's really good. Really good.
Well, fantastic to have a chat with you, sir. Thank you so much for all the input, and please pass on all our best to everybody in the family for your side. And of course, the entire team at NEC. Stay safe while we're in lockdown. And we hope that you're going to be with us for a long time, and hopefully this relationship continues on and on.
For always.
Fantastic, sir. Thank you very much, and have a good evening and enjoy the racing.
You too. Bye-bye, guys.
Cheers, bye.
Yeah, wonderful.
It's kind of like we did our first interview.
Yeah, wonderful to have their participation. Also, just so encouraging to see how positive Francois is about everything that is going on, and it's just great to have them on board. And yeah, let's hope it continues for many years, and of course into our next races as well.
Well, that's one of the big questions that's been sort of touted all day long. So you would have seen it on the group and on the WhatsApp group amongst the drivers. They're all saying, okay, well, when's the next round? Are we doing another one because we've got the extension and all that kind of stuff? Oh, I know that the team at Supercar Lifestyle were going, well, can we just get through this final tonight? And then we all start thinking about changing up the strategy and looking at other things. And of course, without guys like NEC Global, and I know that I'm probably got my good friend Daniel Texera waiting in the background as well. He's coming in from Pure Storage. I don't know if he's online just yet, but when he is, Brent can just let us know. And basically, without guys like that and Data Science Corporation and AfriHost, people don't realize that even though we are doing a lot of good for charity, and to let you know that we've raised over 20,000 Rand towards the Solidarity Fund, there are still costs involved. You know, there's time, there's people's skills, etc. And I mean, a lot of us are doing it at breakneck costing that we can do it because we know the situation we're in. But as I said, without NEC Global and without the guys like Daniel Texera, who's just joined us as well here, Sash, from Pure Storage, we can't do this.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, sponsors are fundamentally in any form of racing, in any form of eventing. So whether or not you are racing at a circuit in real time, or whether or not you're online like we are with this Solidarity e-race, the sponsors are critical. Without them, none of this could actually happen. So it's wonderful to have them with us. And let's say a big hello to Daniel Teixeira, Dashball from Pure Storage. Great to have you along, Daniel. Have you been enjoying the racing so far?
$127th out of 138, so I gave it a good bash. But I've been trying to compete, and I watched all the semi-finals last night. So unbelievable skill out there, I'll tell you what.
128, actually, Danny, I'm going to correct you there slightly.
Okay, 128, thank you.
146.353. That's a decent lap time around Kyle Army, though, buddy. I've got to say, it's an amazing effort that you put in there. But once again, also just to say to people, that not only are you participating, but you're also putting your money where your mouth is and bringing in a big and a long-term relationship with the guys at Supercar Lifestyle. So, hats off to you and your entire team for being part and parcel of what we're doing here this evening.
Absolute pleasure, guys. And without you guys commentating, I must say you make it really, really special and exciting. And the whole Pure team in South Africa is really amped that we participate in the streams, and we've been chatting online as well. So it's an amazing event. And I was just blown away by the amount of excitement that was online last night during those semi-finals. People were clawing at each other to get into these races, and just the hype that you guys build up during the race as well, and the insight that you give us as well is key to the entertainment factor, I would say. So thanks for all your hard work as well.
Oh, we appreciate that always.
Yeah, that's very kind, Daniel. When it comes to you as a business in this time of lockdown, there must be a lot of people that are trying to get hold of you to utilize your services because they can't really get to you physically.
Yeah, I mean, a huge chunk of our business with our biggest partner, Data Sciences, is with the financial sector. So all the institutions are essential services right now, so their business is still running in some form, and they still have to keep the lights on. They still have to keep things going, and a couple of them are seeing spikes in usage in some of their applications, especially some of the online stuff. So yeah, it's we're doing the best we can, leveraging technology like everyone else. We are absolutely zoomed to death, day in and day out. It's at 7 o'clock in the morning, and it finishes at 6 or 7 in the evening. Even the kids are on Microsoft Teams, getting lessons from their teachers. It's a whole new world out there, and technology is right in the center of it. So it's a brave new world, I guess.
It is indeed. I mean, I'm sitting at home here with my youngster. She's only 8, turning 9 in June, and she's inundated with work on a daily basis from the teachers that are sending it, via the different online platforms. So not only are we looking after the entertainment of the kids on the sideline, and of course the entertainment of the folks that are at home during lockdown, but companies like yourself and companies like all of the IT companies we've got involved here are literally providing a service that I don't think a lot of them realized was going to be so vital during this lockdown period, Dan.
Yeah, and the amount of traffic that's hitting all these ISPs. I mean, AfriHost, another one of the sponsors, who's actually the first South African customer for Pure Storage back in the day. So thanks for supporting us, guys, and thanks for bringing us to the table here and helping out with the Solidarity race. But those guys must be getting hammered, and there's lockdown or not, when we come out of lockdown in a stage sort of fashion, maybe it's not going to get back to normal necessarily. People will still be leveraging these online services quite heavily for the foreseeable future, and maybe certain businesses are going to change forever. Because of the coronavirus and stuff. So yeah, it's I wouldn't say it's exciting, but it's you never really know when you need the technology in an emergency, and now we're in an emergency and are heavily on technology to communicate. It's unreal. And here we are this evening leveraging technology to raise some funds for a really good cause, and to provide some entertainment and some lightheartedness to people who are stuck at home, quite maybe worried about the future. So and in our country where you have such a disparate groups of this society, we need all the sort of lightheartedness and entertainment we can get to get us through some of the difficult times. So very happy to be part of a really good cause, and really happy to be working with you guys.
Well, Dan, all I can say is that.
Sorry, Greg. Carry on.
No, you go, Sash.
Yeah, very pertinent points there, and stuff that we have to be very, very mindful of course, as we go forward as a country and as individuals. So it's just so wonderful to have you on board together with Pure Storage, for taking the time out and, of course, contributing to ensure that we can have this opportunity to bring some lightheartedness and some fun to those who are getting a little bit of cabin fever.
Yeah, I agree, and I must say that the skill on show is unreal. I pulled out my old Force GT racing. I think it's like 10 years old or something like that. Plugged it in, and I thought to myself, how hard can it be? Let's give these guys a go. Eh? Let's see what happens.
Yeah,
I've been to Kyalami before. Once or twice. I can make it. And
well, Dan, I'm going to say, I think on behalf of everybody that's involved, first of all, I can see in the background this might appeal to you, so I'm going to just bring him in. Here he comes. There you go. May the force be with you.
I've got a key ring just like that.
Yes. Ah! All right, so you're also another massive Star Wars fan here, so there you go. Dan, may the force be with you, and may the force be with Pure Storage all the time. Thank you so much for your input. Go and enjoy the evening now, because your job is done. Well, we might be calling you tomorrow to say, listen, we may need some help for round 2. So if that's the case, you might get a phone call from Supercar Lifestyle.
We'll be there, no problem. Thanks a lot, guys. And
fantastic, man. Thanks, Daniel.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you very much. Man, I can't believe it. We're 13 minutes away from the first of our 2 races this evening. Yeah, we're in a free practice session. Greg, how tense are you feeling at the moment?
I'm going to tell you something. It's been kind of building. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night because I was still so hyped after last night's semi-finals. But now we're into the main deal now. This is the one that's going to count for the big money. And when I say the big money, we got money up for grabs for the first heat. Not money, but there's a really awesome prize from AfriHost for the winner of this GF1. And of course, they're going to be getting themselves 300 gig per month LTE and router, courtesy of AfriHost for a whole year. So that's what they're going to be fighting for here for race 1. And then, of course, in race 2, they go all at it for all the big money that's available. 20,000 rands worth of prize money that's going to be up for grabs. The winner walks away with 10 grand himself. So it's all to play for tonight. And I think that's why you're seeing every single one of these drivers out there trying to get in a last little ditch effort to get themselves psyched up, get the cobwebs off the machinery, make sure that everything is working. We did have a few guys last night that had some technical issues at home. Hopefully, the man who's sitting on the top of the list at this stage, Mr. Absmeyer, has got his steering wheel adjusted correctly so it doesn't pop off the desktop this time.
Well, you know what? Speaking of that, I mean, how unlucky was he in the one instance? Because in his actual semi-final race, he did have that steering wheel problem, but then he was invited to take part in the 5-lap sprint race right at the end for when winner takes all, and he managed to win that race. And he posted a time that would have actually put him second on the grid, Greg, but because it was an invite and a wild card, he will start at the back of the grid. But with his sort of pace, he's roughly 2 seconds quicker than those guys who are sort of 20th to 25th. So Absmeyer is a guy you're going to have to watch very, very carefully this evening.
Yeah, but if you look at the split of the time, Sash, it's unbelievable. It's a lot closer than what we had in the semifinals. I mean, the splits in the semifinals were sort of up to 16 seconds between top and bottom. Now we're looking at a situation where it's only 2.5 seconds that split the 25 cars that'll be out there for GF1. So there's a lot closer action expected in this first 10-minute session. And of course, well, it's about 18 minutes, but it gives us 10 laps in total. And then we've got, of course, the 20-lapper coming up after that, which will be just a small break for a couple more interviews with some of our sponsors, and also the first part of our prize-giving ceremony that's going to happen just after this GF1. Also interesting, Sash, I went through the list, and I think I got it right. I got it wrong last night, including a certain gentleman's name, but we eventually got it right at the end. But there are 6 racing drivers, actual physical racing drivers, in the mix here in the 25. So there's definitely a big plus towards gamers as opposed towards the actual racing drivers. However, we do have a racing driver who sits on pole, Zahir Essa, who, of course, is not only a racing driver in his own right, he also is a mechanical engineer and a part-time photographer for motorsport. Basically had his career cut short with the lack of funding in the longest-standing single-seater championship in South Africa, Formula V. So he certainly knows his way around this track. He's been probably all around it on various aspects, on inside and outside, as well as on the black stuff. And there he is right now in shot.
Yeah, he's our pole man this evening. He's a tenth quicker than Morgan McCall. It's going to be electrifying. I must say, I cannot wait for the start of this race. Also, just going through our field out of our 25 drivers, Greg, we've got one Bentley, we've got one Aston Martin, and the rest of it, it's Audi versus Porsche. So I don't know if we're going to see the Bentley or the Aston doing it. Sorry, 2 Bentleys and one Aston. But there's our lineup today. As you can see, Jason Absmeyer right at the back of the grid. But look at his time. He did post a 140.49 against Zahir S's 140.43. So the top 5 guys split by 2.5 tenths of a second. It's going to be hair-raising. And I'm sure the guys are very, very tense. I'm beginning to shake over here with only 8 minutes to go.
Yeah, indeed. Morgan McCall will be in second. Of course, Ulrich Enslin is another one of our gamers. Bruno Cadile there in fourth ahead of Charles Wilkin. There is the second of our racing drivers. And, of course, he's a man, I think, who might just be sort of the what do you call it, the thorn amongst the roses there. Because the ability of that man in any form of motorsport that he's participated in has ended up with the South African Championship in his very, very extensive career on track and on dirt. I'm talking about rally and off-road. Devin Elisha in 6th place, also a very good man. Kieran Patterson is another man who comes from a motorsport fan base. He's a big fan, I believe, of Graham Nathan, but has spent most of his time sort of playing around in bits and pieces down in the Cape. Leslie Oliphant, also a very seasoned campaigner when it comes to the form of gaming. Quade Claessens, and we saw Rob Whiting take a victory last night. So down in 10th place, you can't put him out of the equation here.
Yep, exactly. Because, I mean, the guy has won. He knows how to win. So it's all going to be about patience, all about strategy and not making any mistakes. Lane Hutchings in 11th place. Of course, he comes all the way from Cape Town as well. And he also does some driving in the Golf MK2 in Class C. We've got Mark van Rensburg, who's in the first of our British cars, the Bentley Continental, Julian Familiaris.
If I can jump in there quickly, Sash, before you go on.
Yes.
Mark van Rensburg comes from a sport that I started doing when I was about 10 or 11 years old, downhill skateboarding. So there's something completely different.
Well, it's all about speed, that's for sure.
Exactly.
Julian Familiaris in 13th. We've got Hilton Peters in 14th. Jared van Bergen in the Aston Martin. And he actually had a great heat yesterday to get in there. He's in 15th place.
Yeah, behind that, we're going to be pushing hard with Mark Antle, Chris de Vet, Lorenzo Gotteri, another one of our racing drivers, followed very closely there by Dioval Prummer. That's the 6th and final racing driver out of the 19. Leon van Wyk and Mark Henbury. And Daniel Skuman, of course, there in the Audi with Neil Berger, Werder Hinop. And right at the back, as we mentioned, will be the Porsche of Jason Absmeyer. Now, he's the man to watch in this first heat. And his ability to do literally almost what Jeff Kruger did last night in getting through from the back to a top 6. But, of course, tonight, what will happen is, as they finish across the line, is how they will start for the final race of the evening. So this is basically just a warm-up race to get their eye in. There is 300 gigs of LTE and router for the next year available, courtesy of AfriHost, for the winner. But it's all to dictate who is going to line up in the positions they want to be in. In other words, pole and second place, that front row is vital in this race, and we saw it last night, and that will be dictated by how they finish up in this first sprint one.
Yeah, I tell you, if they're giving 300 gigs per month from, sure, what a prize to have. My word, that's going to be pretty impressive. So, Greg, let's just go through that format again. You have mentioned it, that how they finish in the top 6, that's going to be how they start in the second race. But this is all to play for as well, because there are some great prizes up for grabs as well.
Yes, there are. So basically, as they finish this first one, first to 20, we've got 23 cars. We should have 25 cars out there. I'm not quite sure who hasn't got on track yet. We'll see that by the time they get into their grid positions, and we start the race in about 5 minutes' time. But as they finish from 1 to 25 is how they'll line up for the second race of the night, the GF2. That, of course, is a 20-minute mini enduro, so it's a slightly longer version of the racing than what we've had. 20 lap, I should say, not 20 minutes. 20 lap race. And then they all fight out for first prize, of course, going to the man who comes across the line and takes that victory. And he wins himself 10,000 Rand and a gig per month of uncapped fiber, courtesy of AfriHost. That's a huge prize. Second place is 3,500 Rand. Third place is 2,000 Rand. And then, of course, the top racing driver wins himself the TGN Pro GT Simulator frame, courtesy of TGN Racing Simulators. And it's a console with a PC edition, which is worth 12,000 Rand. That goes to the man from our racing fraternity that is going to end up at the top of the list. He might win. He might only be third or fourth, but whoever is the best racing driver of the night will get that frame. And then don't forget, whoever the best gamer is or sim racer tonight, they will be getting an official test drive with the Universal Healthcare and Universal Motorsport team, the championship winning team from 2018 in the Utinga Polo Cup. So that's what's all up for grabs here this evening, Sash, and it's all to play for.
Yeah, very much. I just want to go over the GF1 winner because I'm a bit confused. I think it's is it 300 megabytes per month?
300 megabytes per, yeah, 300
Not
megabytes
300
per
gigs.
month.
300 gigs. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
No,
Okay.
it's about 18 grand's worth of prize there, Sash. And when you think about if you're going to be getting a gig a month, can you just imagine what that's going to be like? It's crazy. It's really, really crazy. But there you have it.
Man, you can have a lot of fun with that. We got a little bit of a yellow flag. We've got 3.5 minutes or 3 minutes and 10 seconds left of this free practice session. These times don't mean anything. They just want to try and get their eye in, make sure that they know where their braking markers are, and get themselves calm before the storm of our first race. We've still got 23 cars. A couple of others may have some technical issues. Hopefully, we do have a full field when we get racing in a few minutes from now.
So just getting confirmation there on that for you, Sash. The 300 GB LTE is worth about 18,000 Rand, and the gigs worth of fibers are worth about 20,000 Rand. So it's about a 30 grand prize that's up for grabs if you win tonight in GF2.
All right, just having a look at some of the times that these guys are doing. 140.2, 140.2, 140.3, 140.3. Man, these guys have all of a sudden pulled the throttle, they pulled the lever. This is going to be crazy fast today.
Yeah, if you go all the way down, actually, in fact, into, I think it's 7th place there, Bruno Cadilli has done a 140.9. So your first 7 cars are already into the 140s. And this is just free practice with 2 minutes to go. So they are starting to feel it. They're starting to get into that race face, and the red mist is about to come down, as we always say. So in a few minutes' time, we'll be shutting down this free practice session. We then go, of course, into the grid positions and start the rolling start that takes them around Kyle Army Grand Prix circuit. Of course, this incredible circuit that is raced by the Intercontinental GT Championship. These are the cars that actually physically race in the Kyle Army 9-hour. And if everything goes according to plan and we get out of lockdown, they will be back this year for another edition of the Kyle Army 9-hour at this incredible circuit. So we're looking forward to all of that happening as well.
Yeah, it looks like that is definitely going to be happening in the near future. Of course, we're just waiting to see whether we finish the lockdown. Also, so many people joining us on the various platforms. Great to hear from you. So nice to hear a guy that I met through Supercar Lifestyle and the Cannonball Run, Mike Triggers, Mike busy watching us and having some fun as well. He's got a couple of nice little cars that I'm sure you'd like to race around there as well. So great to have you guys along. Please keep your comments coming through. We will try and get through them. Also questions as well. One quick one for you, Greg. Some people tuning in for the first time. What game are they actually playing? I think a lot of people would like to know.
Sure. Okay, the game's name, of course, is Assetto Corsa Competizione. And it's the official game that, of course, covers the Intercontinental GT Championship, which is the cars that race in the Kyle Army 9 Hour and physically come around this track for real in November. So that's the official name of the game. You can get it on various formats. We're using the PC format of this one. It is available, I think, also on PS4 and Xbox, but unfortunately, some of our gamers wanted to come and participate with the Xbox and PS4s, but they're only apparently launching those and this version in, I think, end of the month or possibly into June, depending on what happens with lockdown. So there's a good possibility that it might come out a bit earlier because the guy's being stuck at home. But that's the version of the game that we're using. There are other various games that are available, of course. The nice thing with this, of course, is it has a broadcast mode, which, of course, then allows us to do exactly what we're doing here tonight. And we get EFX Productions to put the broadcast mode out onto all of our social media platforms.
Yeah, it is. It's just magnificent to see. We're into the final seconds of this session. I tell you, Absmeyer is pushing like crazy just to make sure that he can try and progress up the field as much as possible. He will start at the back. We still got 23 cars, and we got about a minute and 10 seconds. About a minute, 10 seconds or so, Greg, until the start of our first race this evening.
Yeah, well, there you go. The free practice has now got 0:00 on the clock, and they line up in their positions. We've got 25 cars all ready to go now. And you can see that we are going to be, well, yes, I'm ready to go, but it's going to be amazing. It's proper cool. I didn't think I was going to be this excited about it, I've got to tell you, but I am absolutely blown away with how exciting this format is.
It is. It's just so much fun. It's wonderful. It's 7 o'clock all over the world. People are blowing their vuvuzelas. Everyone is having a great time. We are ready to go racing. It is the Solidarity E-Race first final this evening. And then, of course, however they finish in this race will determine the grid for the second race.
I'm just checking out on our E-Race WhatsApp group. All the guys who haven't made it, they're just throwing in like final comments. They enjoy, guys. It's going to be awesome. Fatom Fluffy, I got from Blake's. There's going to be some big action that's coming through any second now. But, of course, also coming through information there on Kieran Patterson. Now, Kieran Patterson there in 7th place. Another interesting fact about him is he's not only a gamer, he's also a slot car racer too. So it'll be awesome to see if he's able to get into the slot here and get that car around like a slot car should do here. So as they roll off, Zaire Essa will set the pace. I'm a bit concerned that Morgan McCall is not on the front row there, but I didn't see him roll off in time. I don't see the number 5 car. That's what a big concern was as they lined up, but he might have just come in late, last minute there. I'm just waiting to see whether or not he is actually on the grid. And I didn't see that Porsche.
Yeah, he's in the pits at the moment, so hopefully he'll get out. But it looks like he's going to start from the pit lane, so that gives Essa a bit of breathing space. But it does give Bruno Cadilha, a bit of an open line from 4th position on the grid, all depending on how they start up. But this is going to be extremely close. The one thing about Essa yesterday, Greg, his first lap wasn't so fantastic when he was racing against Absmeyer, and then Absmeyer had his issues. So those guys, if they were watching carefully, could have an opportunity to try and pounce on Essa in the first lap. After that, Essa finds his rhythm and his groove. He's going to be very, very difficult to pass.
Now, I was also having a watch on all the chatter and back and forth, not only on WhatsApp, but on the Discord channel that these guys communicate on. And there was a lot of concern from the man there in the only Audi at the front end, that is Ulrich Enslin, saying he might have made a wrong decision here to go with the Audi. He thinks the Porsches have got the edge, and you can see if you look at those first 8 cars, 7 of them are Porsches. So it's a small concern that he's had. He thinks he can still hang in there and possibly give them a run for their money. That's the man we're looking at there, that blue, orange, and white striped Audi Le Mans, and of course that is a proper race machine when you get it out there. That R8 is a machine of note. but in amongst a pack of very, very dangerous Porsches, he's going to have his work cut out for him. Now, remember, he was our initial pace setter from the gaming world. Our initial pace setter from the racing world is currently sitting down in 18th place, also in an Audi, Lorenzo Guarteri. So a little bit of work there to do for Guarteri and Brummer to try and come through. And then if you look just halfway up the mine shaft there, that, of course, is our Pure Storage mine shaft. That, of course, is the Hulk. And that is being piloted by Charles Wilkin. So the all lime green with purple livery, the Hulk Porsche there of Charles Wilkin, that's certainly a man to watch out for as well. And I think, as I said earlier on, he's going to cause a little bit of an upset amongst the gamers.
Yeah, I must tell you, watch out for Charles Wilkin. The guy, besides being such a multiple South African champion in all forms of racing, also in his skill when it comes to gaming is quite remarkable as well. We're getting close towards the end of the lap. They're going through Cheetah now, and they will slow right down as they take the final left-hander. They'll go into Ingwe, and then from there they will wait for the green lights. They have to follow the lead of Zahir Essa, but off the line, how they're going to sprint is going to be interesting. We have lost one car. I'm not sure, well, two cars, but maybe
McCall hasn't come out of pits. He might have to start from the pit box there, Sash. So as they go to the lights now, wait for those lights to go out. There's no acceleration until those lights go out. As soon as we hit green, we go. And, of course, Bruno Cadilla will have to hang tight. He will not be able to resume that second place. Wow, Zahir Essa does exactly what he did last night. Just comes straight across and goes to the inside line. It's not the inside line for the King turn one, but it certainly is the inside line as they go down towards Crowthorne. Cadilla is on his back and looking for a way through. Around the outside goes Alaric. Alaric Ensler around the outside trying to find an early move there on the Porsche, but he can't quite get there, and he tucks in behind Zahir Essa. The rest of the pack comes streaming through. Looks like Charles Wilkin lost out ever so slightly. And the third Audi of actually Quade Claessens. Quade Claessens, who's got a phenomenal start. He's moved himself up dramatically and almost up into about 5th place.
I tell you, is he going to dive down the inside? Ensler, no, he doesn't. He backs off. Oh, he runs extremely
wide. The background.
Go into Clubhouse. Seems to be quite a bit of carnage around there, but Essa pushing extremely hard. Brilliant first lap for him. The way that he's defended against Ensler, but Ensler and Bruno Cadilla right up there. Claessen down, Olifant up to 7th.
Just to jump in there, looks like Quade Claessens might have got a drive-through penalty. I did see the DT go up next to his name, so there's a good possibility he might have made some illegal maneuvers to get where he is right now, and by doing that, it's cost him dearly. A drive-through penalty in this short format is going to be a huge, huge mistake. So Quade Claessens might have to go into pit lane and drive through it on this pass. He's only going to see it on the pit board as he comes through, but he might have got communication from our online steward to tell him that he's made some kind of faux pas on the track, and it's caused him to get that drive-through penalty. As they come through now, it is Zahir Essa who leads things out, and he has got a second-place battle of note on his tail. Ensler, Cadilla, and Claessens are right there. But as I said, I just saw a DT there for Quade Claessens. Good possibility he might have to do a drive-through on the next pass.
Well, I tell you, it's giving some breathing space for Zahir Essa, Ensler, Cadilla, and Claessen's all fighting with each other, giving Essa a much-needed break. Guy to watch that we did say was Absmeyer. From 25th, he's already up to 13th. Greg, so Absmeyer is flying at the moment. Charles Wilkin is up to 5th place. There's Absmeyer on your screen at present. He's up in 13th place, and watch out, this guy is going to get through the pack and going to push extremely hard. Great driving from him. But at the front, Zahir Essa, what a first lap from him. Some great aggressive, but also some great defensive driving as well.
It looks like Absmeyer going to be trying to get ahead of Kieran Patterson there, the slot car racer. He ran out of shape coming into Sunset the last time. Actually saw that Porsche slide around and almost hit the wall. He was very lucky to avoid the wall there. So Kieran Patterson just able to recover nicely, but it means he loses out another position there. And Absmeyer's got through. As they get up to the top of the hill, it's now Absmeyer into the top 12, Patterson down into 13th. The 16 car there of Devon Leisha is now starting to make some maneuvers as well. He comes along with Leslie Olifant, and just ahead of them is the Hulk of Charles Wilkin. So we've literally got the 3 Porsches closing down on the back end there of the man who should go into pit lane on this next pass and do that drive-through. I wonder if he's going to try and hang on for as long as he can. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to quickly have a look at the rules and see how many laps they're allowed to do before they have to take that drive-through penalty once it's been incurred.
All right, yeah, no penalties on here on my side either, Greg, but, we'll see what our artificial intelligence, maybe the clerk of the course, they're all having a conversation at present. But no change at the front. Essa, Enslin, Cadilia, and we're on board with Craig Claessens getting very, very close to Bruno Cadilia, right on his exhaust pipe there in the Audi, so maybe he can do something coming through. Barbecue into the left-hander now, and then of course the run to Sunset. You want to get your line on the left-hand side of this right-hander, one of the most spectacular corners in racing. Slight lift over there, and they push very, very hard as you approach the clubhouse turn into the S's as well. Superb driving, great skill, and just looking down the field, it seems to have a little bit of hold station at the moment, Greg.
Yeah, they've calmed down a bit,
11 and a half minutes to go.
Yeah, they've calmed down ever so slightly, but you can see a little bit of maneuver now coming from the Hulk there as Claessens gets reeled in by Charles Wilkin. Wilkin very late on the brakes up into Leeuwkop and makes a maneuver there to try and get through on the Audi. I don't think they're going to catch Essa. Essa's disappearing at the front end, but it is Essa from Enslin. We're on board here with Craig Claessens looking at the sweep right into the eyes of that Porsche of Charles Wilkin as he comes under braking for Crocodile, and into the Crocodiles now. You can see using a little bit of the curb behind him. It's almost instantaneous and exactly the same line from Leslie Oliphant and Devin Leisha. Those three Porsches working together. Oh, a little bit off there. That was great. Craig Claessens, who ran a little bit wide and put some wheels on the dirt. So that's not what you want to be doing. That's going to lose him a little bit of time, and you can see Charles Wilkin's going to look to capitalize on it as they go across the line.
Yeah, I got Charles Wilkin, Oliphant right behind him as well, and Elisha. I thought Charles Wilkin was going to be able to capitalize on that mistake from Claessens, but doesn't seem to be. Zahir Essa looking extremely comfortable. Enslin in second in that Audi looking terrific. Absmeyer is up to 12th now from starting at the back of the grid. And we got everybody out on track at the moment. McCall has joined the race, and Van Rensburg have joined the race.
A little bit of touching between the Aston Martin at the back end there. See just how tight that was. It's the Audi that's getting forced wide by the Porsche, and that little Porsche squeezing through and finding a way. No, it's going to be some rubbing his racing there. Skuman and Brummer coming together. Gilbert Brummer will be used to rubbing his racing. He's been in a couple of classes where that happens on a daily and hourly and minutely basis. In fact, probably on every second of every lap that they do. But he's now in the thick of it and runs that Audi really wide. Skuman having to try and fend off now and get back ahead. Mark Antal just squeezed through. Brummer's on his tail, but also getting confirmation from our COC and from the stewards. The drive-through penalty was automatically assigned, but then removed by the stewards. So it looks like Claessens might just have survived that one.
Yeah, I tell you, you've got to feel desperate for Morgan McCall. He's still in the pits at the moment. He was meant to line up second on the grid, and that'll definitely hurt. It means he is going to start the main 20-lap race right at the back of the grid. Charles Wilkin, we're on board with you in camera. This is a great dice between Catilia, Claessens, Wilkin, and Oliphant. They're all trying to chase down Essa, but Essa seems to have very, very smooth driving in front of him. Be interesting to see if we can get some of the times on the guys, especially Enslin. Is he making any progress on Zahir Essa?
Further back there, you can see this is Rob Whiting. Rob Whiting, Lorenzo Gualtieri starting to close in on them, and Hilton Peters just ahead. You've got Lane Hutchins in there too. He started a bit higher up, but he's lost a little bit of ground there, so it looks like he's kind of stayed pretty much where he started. And then it's Absmeyer. That's why we've gone back to this pack. Jason Absmeyer now trying to find a way through on these three cars. But the problem that Jay is having now is he's now back into the pack that was on similar lap times to what he was doing in qualifying and in practice. So it makes it a bit more difficult
somebody going
to find
for
a way
big
through.
Lunge. He was going for a big lunge, Hutchins and Gualtieri. So they're beginning to feel the pressure of Absmeyer being right on the back of them. They go through the S's. Now they climb up towards Leeuwkop. Watch out for these three. I think we're going to see some action going into what used to be called the bowl. They're going to be going through the Crocodiles after this, a long drag down the mine shaft. Absmeyer, the man to watch.
Now we're looking at, this is Bruno Cadilia now also starting to make some maneuvers. He's closing in on the back end of Alaric Enslin, the leading Audi. He's in second place overall. Zaire S is just up the road from them. But Bruno Cadilia now is starting to apply that pressure and looking for a way to make it Porsches 1 and 2. Enslin is soaking up that pressure big time. He hasn't really made any mistakes out on circuit, but it's all about hanging in and being as consistent as possible with 7.5 minutes to go as they cross the line and complete another lap. Essa getting away from these two due to the fact that they might be fighting each other a little bit and not working together to try and close that gap down on Essa. The fight is on here between two Audis. The Porsche in the sandwich there is the meat in it, of course, and then behind it come 3 very, very quick Porsches. So we're in for a bit of a battle here. It's almost a 5-way battle for second place.
Yeah, it is terrific driving. Enslin, as you can see, driving very defensively, giving Essa a little bit of breathing room. Is Cadillo going to try and do anything? You can see he's right on the back of that Audi. Seems to have a much faster car, and it seems as though Enslin is holding him up a little bit. But the main thing about it is catching a driver is one thing, passing them is another. So let's watch this very, very carefully. One little mistake is going to cost you a lot of time.
Now, you don't make any mistakes right now. What these guys are going to start to think about, Ash, is where they're going to be placed. And there's a maneuver just in the background there. Yeah, I thought so. It looks like Charles Wilkin made a small mistake or had a bit of an issue. Wilkin's dropped back, I think, 2 positions. If we can go to Charles Wilkin, we can try and pick up on him. But you can see Charles Wilkin making a big mistake there. There he is now side by side with Leslie Oliphant. So he's dropped right out of it down into 6th place. Oliphant on the outside trying to find a way past. And you can see Quake Larson's just able to use that. But how tight is that? Into the Crocodiles, 2 Porsches side by side. And as they come up into Cheetah, the inside line is the better option to have. But you can see, fortunately, Charles Wilkin was later on the liftoff. There's no braking there. They literally just come off the pedal and go back on it as quickly as they can do that. And now, all of a sudden, you've got Devin Lasher, who's starting to put the pressure onto the back of these two. And a 3-way Porsche battle as they cross the line.
Yeah, I tell you, some great driving there, and Charles Wilkin definitely didn't take his foot off the fast pedal and has maintained his sort of lead over Oliphant. So terrific driving. Essa, Enslin, Kadia, Klaassen, and Wilkin. There's not much between them, Greg. I mean, this is one little mistake, and you could lose yourself a good 3 or 4 positions.
Yeah, the battle is about to become 6-way for second. If Shaw can just bridge the gap there to the back end of Craig Klaassen's. Klaassen's at this stage in the second Audi. He has now been able to get onto the back of Bruno, and he's having a go here. Well, he had a look. Didn't quite make it stick, though. He had a big look into Clubhouse corner as they came into Clubhouse, and now heading to that Afri Host S's. You can see just how tight it is. And let me tell you something. Craig Klaassen's, I think, means business. He wants by, and Kadelia is going to be in a bit of trouble here. Although he gets good drive out of those Afri Host S's and heads up to the top, to the Data Science Corporation Leeuwkop corner, it's not going to be an easy one to get through. Oliphant, though, has now got pressure, as I said, from Devin Lasher.
Yeah, you called that spot on. It looks like Charles Wilkins just managed to get back his rhythm. He's chasing down Craig Klaassen's, but the battle here, Lasher and Oliphant. Lasher maybe go and try on the inside, not close enough this time as they go through the Crocodiles. Let's see how brave he is, but maybe you'll have a look at him going into turn 2 into Crowthorne after the long straight as they approach now the final left-hander to complete another lap. We've got 4 minutes left of this first race here. Zahir Essa seems to have a comfortable lead over Enslin, Kadia, Klaassen, Wilkin, and Oliphant.
Devin Lasher just put in a 1 minute 41.9. So those lap times are starting to come down from Lasher, and that's why he's been able to catch the back end of Leslie Oliphant. Oliphant was good on the brakes, so was Lasher. He closed right up, but as you said, Tash, it looks like Charles Wilkin is now leaving the two of them behind as they fight it out. Wilkin's attentions are on that Audi in front of him of Craig Klaassen's. Great onboard stuff here as we come out of barbecue, heading towards the Sunset corner. Very difficult corner to get right. It's a slight lift in a rear-wheel drive Porsche, and there's lots of power there. Once again, a little bit of issue for Charles Wilkin. Wilkin's under pressure.
Yeah,
Wilkin's under massive pressure, and there goes Oliphant. Oliphant dives through, and so does Devin Lasher. There's a problem there on Charles Wilkin's car. He's dropped back dramatically there. Maybe something went wrong at home, because that's the only thing I can say that went wrong. Let's have a look at it.
Well, let's see what happens.
He's closing in on Klaassen's. Watch him come into Sunset.
Oh, yeah, he lost the back.
Big time.
There we go. And I tell you, he really got a bit of a shake there because he didn't recover well at all. And Charles Wilkin loses 2 places. I mean, he managed to save the car, but he lost a huge amount of time and lost the 2 positions as well. So, I mean, this fight now is just incredible between Elisha and Olifant. Wilkin now at the back of it with only 2.5 minutes left of this race, and to determine how our grid starts for the main 20-lapper later on this evening.
Well, just having a look as well, I'm just seeing Julian Familiaris seems to have dropped right back down into 21st place as well. He must have had an issue on track somewhere too. He was slightly higher than that, so something went wrong there with Familiaris. Now we're looking at the battle here between... and Absmeyer makes a mistake. As we go to Jason Absmeyer, he makes a mistake and runs wide coming out of Ingwe. That's allowed Robert Whiting to get away, and here comes Lane Hutchins for a bit of a lock at it as well. In fact, Hutchins has just squeezed by on him. So Absmeyer and Hutchins were fighting hard there, and it looks like Absmeyer coming and maybe putting a little bit too much pressure on himself to get to the front. Remember, he started right in 25th place.
Absmeyer had done so much work to get ahead of Hutchins, and then unfortunately gave the position back. So it's so amazing that the skill of all of these drivers is so close. Absmeyer did a brilliant job to get up to 12th and 13th position, but from there now he's with competitors that are basically at the same caliber as him, and now it becomes a tremendous struggle. So wonderful to watch. We're on board with Devin Leisha, of course, pushing hard on Olifant in front of him. Lots of heavy braking from Olifant. They go into the mine shaft here. If he gets a good run from Leisha, he might be able to dive down the inside going into the Crocodiles. I don't think he's close enough, unfortunately. And well, Masobi got 1.5 laps left of this race. Ooh, very hard on the brakes is Olifant.
Well, like 3 corners of the lap to go, I think.
Yeah, if I was Leisha, I would definitely try and look at another line.
So leader takes the last lap now and starts that final lap. Battle at the back here between Berger, Van Bergen, and it looks like Mark Henry's made up a little bit of ground. Him and Mark van Rensburg dropped back earlier on, and the Bentley now seems to have made its way back into the little fray here. But closing in on, of course, the only Aston Martin out there as well. So Aston Martin versus Porsche versus Bentley as they come out of Crocodiles and start to make their way across the line for the final time here in this first GF1 for the evening. Oh, good move from the Bentley.
Huge.
That's a massive amount of coyotes to get on the inside of Cheetah, but he made it thick and got through there on Neil Berger. Berger didn't see that coming. The big Bentley just forced its way through, and now they start their final lap and head down towards turn 1, the Kink and Crowthorne, and this is incredible. Neil Berger doing 1:45, so that's why he's taking a little bit of strain at this stage, dropping back by the wayside there in his Porsche, the purple and yellow one. But you can see just how difficult it is now. Into the closing stages now. We're going to try and pick up on the leader, Zahir Essa. He should be making his way probably down the mine shaft because the leader's already up towards Leocop. We're going through the AfriHost. Essa's up towards Data Science Corporation, Leocop corner. And these two are about to head down the Pure Storage mine shaft. Essa is already into Crocodiles. Easily done for him. And have a look in the background there, Sash. I also picked up on that last night. I didn't quite get a chance to mention it. But did you see the crowd? The crowd that's here today live at Kyalami are also doing some social distancing. They're not right next to each other. They're giving about 1.5 meters apart. It's quite lekker.
Well,
thanks, guys. We appreciate that.
Yeah, great for them to obey that. Here we go. Zahir Essa from flag to flag. A fantastic drive. Brilliant first lap. And from there, he's just dictated the pace. Zahir Essa wins. This has been very tight for 6th place. And then it's Ensslin who comes second. Cadilia in 3rd place. Klaassen, Olifant, Elisha, Peters. Joel Wilkie dropped all the way down to 9th place, Greg.
Yes, he did. So incredible to see how things changed up there. And you can see just how tight and difficult it is to get into the racing and finish it all up. A couple of cars still coming to the line. Mark Ansel trying to close down there on De Vet. And it looks like he's just going to lose out there to the Mint Porsche that, of course, is out there. And you can see a couple of reshuffles and some reboots now as these guys come through. But to give you the confirmation results there is Essa takes it ahead of Ulrich Ensslin. Bruno Cadile comes through for 3rd ahead of Quade Klaassens. Leslie Olifant and Devin Leisha. Then it's Hilton Peters. Good drive from him. He moved up nicely from 14th up to 7th. So basically halved his original grid position. If he does the same thing in race 2 now, he'll be taking 1st place. Lorenzo Gutteri also made some massive maneuvers to get through up into 8th place and eventually beat out Charles Wilkin. Robert Whiting in 10th place. And just to let you know, Sash, joining us on the live stream as we speak, none other than Supervan himself. Sarel van der Merwe is in the house and watching what we're doing here at the Solidarity E-Race.
Wonderful to have Supervan. I wonder what he's thinking about you and saying, come on, give me one of those big V8s and I'll have a little bit of fun around there. But great to have Cyril on online to come and watch us as well. So amazing.
Yeah, that's how it goes. And of course, in 11th place, it was Mark Antle just beating Julian Familiaris. In fact, no, this is how they finished up in their free practice session. So we're not going to run with those results. But Sash, that's our first heat done. So of course, what we're going to do now, Sash, is we've got a couple of guys that are going to be standing by on the wayside, who we're going to be catching up with from our other two AFRI hosts and Data Science's point of view. So while we get our technical team at EFX to get everything sorted out, quick chat with you there, Sash. Kind of what we expected in the first race. A little bit of fighting in the mid-pack, but the guys at the front, I don't think have shown their cards just yet. They're sitting there going, okay, what do we need to do to get a decent grid position, more importantly than anything else, and then just to see how the other guys are going to sort of fare in a 10-lapper. Remember, it's now twice as far to go and twice as long to go as well. So it's a slightly different strategy you need to bring into play.
Yeah, very much so. I think Zahir Essa will be very happy the way that race ran, Greg, because we saw him last night as well. His first lap, he seemed to have a couple of issues. This time, he just dove down onto the left-hand side after the start there, protected the line going into turn one, and from there he found his rhythm. And he will want that Audi to ensure that it stays behind him, because we have noticed that the Audi is slightly slower than the Porsche. So if he can ensure he's got an Audi behind him and then the Porsche is behind that, I think Zahir S will be very, very happy going into the main race this evening. But if the Porsches get the jump on the Audi, whoa, I think we're in for a cracker, that's for sure.
And I think that's exactly what the Audis have to do. Those Audis have got to try and make sure that they get a bit of a drop on the Porsches and then defend. If they get outgunned by the Porsches in that first corner at Crowthorne, or the second corner at Crowthorne, there's going to be a possibility that they're going to get outgunned. Now, I believe we've got Coral Fulsher from AFRI Host online. Coral, are you with us there, buddy?
Hey, guys.
Hey, good to have you here, bud. You must be pretty excited about how this has all gone with the amount of exposure and engagement we've had over the last, 10 days that we've been playing?
Yeah, it's been pretty awesome. It's been on our expectations and stuff. We have obviously jumped the gun on this from the start, and it's been a pretty awesome experience for us as well as all the other guys. And just this last race, is sitting on each of my seat, and it's like watching real races and stuff like that, which is pretty cool.
That's what we like to hear.
Carl, it's quite bizarre, as if you're watching the last couple of days, I was saying, I'm in two minds about watching this e-racing, but now I've been commentating on it and actually getting so involved in it. I mean, it's dramatic fun. And I suppose in the crazy way, it's extremely safe.
Yes. So to echo what Daniel said, I also joined the racing for a bit, and unfortunately my time wasn't good enough. But it's much easier than driving sim racing car into a wall than it is to doing a real car. So,
oh, that's for sure.
So, Carl, in terms of your times, just have a quick squiz and see where you finished up. Should we make that known to everybody, or should we keep it a secret?
I was second slowest of everyone, so don't worry about it. I know about it.
Yeah, 149.9. I had to do it because I gave it to Daniel, so he'll shout at me if I don't TV you or not. 149.9 is a good lap time around Kyle Army, though, but I think more importantly than doing the good lap times is as we saw with Daniel, and of course with a whole bunch of guys that have been involved in this little championship that we've run. Putting your money where your mouth is during a time like this is not an easy thing to do. And with a company like yours, this also must be kind of where you're targeting a lot of your business.
Yeah, so we like to give back, especially in this cause and this difficult times and stuff like that. So by that wasn't just about trying to make extra business and stuff like that. It was just to show that people that we really like to entertain people while we have all these issues and stuff like that. And I think sim racing is the perfect opportunity to be able to keep people entertained, like myself as well. I mean, I get bored very easily, but to have some kind of an event to help people just overcome this whole loneliness and sitting at home the whole time doing absolutely nothing.
Coral, what has the demand been like for bandwidth during this lockdown period? It must be extraordinary with the amount of people at home, either gaming, series watching. What has it been like from your side, and how have you coped with it?
So obviously we had a bunch of issues with the international cables that broke down and things like that. But we have seen, I can't give you exact figures, but we have seen between 20 and 40% of increase in bandwidth, specifically like Netflix and that sort of things.
Jeez.
I don't know if it's me, but I'm struggling to.
I think we may have lost Coral there, Stash. So maybe just to reiterate there, they're one of our big sponsors, and they've put the majority of the cash and data prizes together as well. So we want to say a massive thank you to Coral and his team. Unfortunately, it looks like we have just lost him there. So incredible to see how technology works, and sometimes it can kind of bite you right when you don't want it to. But more importantly is we've got the bandwidth to play with tonight. So that's what we want. Anyway, we're going to move on now, of course, to the man from Data Sciences. Is Gerard with us? I think Gerard Allman is going to be joining us too. Gerard, you there?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Fantastic, buddy. Look at that Ultima in the background. That is a proper machine in the background. You are just showing off tonight, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, that's just obviously this whole event is because petrol runs in our blood. So it was a great opportunity for us to get involved in the e-race. I mean, the guys from Supercar Lifestyle contacted us, I think, on the 25th of March with the ideas of putting a race together. And good for those guys and everybody else involved. I mean, some of our technical guys have also spent the last couple of nights working till very late to make sure that everything's up and running to make this event happen. So just kudos to all of the guys involved in making this happen.
Wonderful to have you on board there, and I mean that Ultima in the background. Please tell me it's got the Alfa Romeo engine in it.
No, it's got a 6.2 liter V8, so it's American.
But it's still
Don't worry, Sash, that means that Farrell on a mobile will be happy. Gerard, from your side of things, not only have you sort of been involved as the sponsor, but as you said, a lot of your team, and including the man who's sort of behind the scenes doing all of the back end office work here, Richard Raymond, he's done an incredible amount of work for us to ensure that all of this platform is available. We can entertain the crowds like we have. It must be pretty exciting to see this kind of format, first of all, in the lockdown period, having a huge success. But do you think there's a warranted maneuver to carry on and do this more often, even if we're out of lockdown?
Yes, I think, I mean, I was also a little bit skeptic in the beginning to see how exciting it would be to do online gaming. But I know a lot of our youngsters spend a lot of their time on Twitch and other gaming platforms watching other people play first-person shooter games, which I've never really been into. But especially with the format that we've been running it with, the live commentary that you guys provide, and the quality of the graphics and racing engine behind it, it's very close to the real thing. I was lucky enough to also be at the Kyalami 9 Hour last year, and this is really top class.
Yeah, all we need to do, I think, is just throw in a little bit of rain, and then it'll be exactly like you experienced, eh?
Yes.
Throwing a lot around. Gerard, it's wonderful to have you on board, and thank you very much for being one of our major sponsors, and of course also helping on the technical back end of putting this all together. And let's ensure that this is the first of many.
Yes, great stuff. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, Gerard. Thank you so much for Data Science Corporation as well. We do appreciate their support. Sash, that Ultima in the background, we're about to give somebody a really, really exciting bit of news too, which we're also going to announce tonight. Not only have Ferris Cars given us a chauffeur drive in a Ferrari, but the team from Data Sciences there, Gerard and his team, have decided that they're going to throw in that Ultima with a chauffeur drive with of course, Gerard driving. And one of their partners as well is going to be giving a Porsche a chance to go in a Porsche as well. So we've got 3 incredible chauffeur drives, which we're going to be doing in the next couple of minutes. And of course, I'm now going to ask Brendan to start getting the first part of our prize giving ceremony sorted out while we're waiting for the next race to load up. So ladies and gents, don't go anywhere. There is a little bit of a technical issue that has to be sorted out in between these 2 heats due to the fact that we're on a slightly longer format than we were last night. And of course, we didn't know how things were going to end up like we did in the semifinals, where we already had them preloaded to go. So there's a little bit of technical issues in the background, which is why we're kind of holding the fort here for a bit. But it does give us a chance to go straight into the first part of our prize giving. And hopefully Brendan has got that slide ready to go, because the first part of the prize giving.
Okay, so we'll get that in a couple of moments, but let's go through what our prizes are from our first race. The AfriHost, of course, sponsor of all of the cash and data prizes for the whole event. The qualifying is 1,000 rand. The semi-final winners last night all got 500 rand from AfriHost. And tonight, our main winner of GF1, the first race that we've had, Greg, 300 gigabytes per month LTE router for 12 months. I think it's valued at over 18,000 rands worth of data.
Yeah. Unbelievably.
Wow.
18,000 rands worth of prize, and that's going to go to Zaire Essa, of course, because he took the victory. So he'll be pretty stoked with that. Now, he could be walking away with a couple more of the prizes if he keeps going the way he is. It looks like by the sounds of things, the slides haven't come through to Brendan yet. So we'll have to wait for that one, or we may have to just do them right at the end if we don't get them in time. But they were supposed to be sent through, so we'll just hang tight for them if we get it.
Yeah, I think we'll do that.
All right, so we are going to have to do it right at the end there. It doesn't look like the slides have got through there too, Brendan. We were going to do, of course, the 2 lucky draws for the participants that have been with us since the start. There were 137 of them in total, and each of them were put into a lucky draw this afternoon. And then we basically went in and did that lucky draw. And I don't have the list in front of me, otherwise we could have run through it as well, but I sent that on. They'll be putting it out to us now. Cars going out on track now to get ready for, of course, the next heat of racing, which is our big one. It's the mini enduro. It's 20 laps around Kyalami. They'll be fighting for the big prizes, 10,000 rand and 1 gig a month of LTE and router, which is a 20,000 rand prize there from AfriHost, including 10 grand's worth of cash too. So looking good. Right, looks like we are ready to go there by the looks of things, because the cars are lined up, Sash. So everybody, stand by. We're about to give you some green lights for the warm-up lap, and this is the one that's going to count. This is for the money. This is for everything that we've been working towards in raising over 20,000 rand ourselves towards the Solidarity Fund. Everybody seems to be on that front row like they should be. It looks like it's here, Essa alongside Ulrich Enslin. And that's how they're going to be.
When we look at it, taking our 140 odd people who entered into the Solidarity E-Race, it comes down to these 25 drivers who have gone through everything to get here. And then, of course, one of them is going to walk away as our champion. And of course, never mind the prizes, it's the prestige. It is knowing that you are the winner of the first ever Solidarity E-Race here at Kyalami. So the warm-up lap has started. Zaire Essa takes them around on this warm-up lap, which will take about 2 odd minutes. And then, of course, it is going to be a 20-lapper or part thereof race. So the longest format of race that they've had so far this over the last 10 days.
Yeah, it's going to be slightly longer, which means they're in their race seats or standing behind their desks or holding their thrust controllers in their hands for a lot longer than what they've been doing. But when I say a lot longer, Sash, just to run through some of those stats that we had, as of up to the semi-finals, but then including the semi-finals last night, we've done nearly 4,000 qualifying sessions. It's over 22,000 laps of the circuit. We've probably got close to the 100,000 K mark in terms of distance traveled, which if you take the last 6 days of race action and make it 7 days now with tonight included, it's probably about 3 times around the world that we've been doing in the last 7 days. It's unbelievable how much time these guys have spent behind their wheels, behind their rigs, behind their controllers to ensure that they've made it to this point in the season. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I got to tell you, those Pirelli technicians have been working furiously in the pits at Kyalami, changing all of those tires for the guys. But you know, it's just extraordinary that you can get so involved and excited. I think it's just this technology, Greg. I mean, the way that these cars look, the sound that it comes down, the instant replays that you get, the helicopter cams. I mean, it's mind-bogglingly brilliant.
And Sash, you were talking about those Pirelli technicians. Did you actually get a chance to go down into pit lane during the 9 hour and see the setup that was there for Pirelli? They literally took 12 racing doors of the Kyalami pit building to ensure that they could handle the amount of tire changes that were required over the 4 days that the actual Kyalami 9 hour took. I know that's probably going to be on a similar basis to what these guys have done. It's mind-blowing. So ready to rock and roll now as they come down the Pure Storage mine shaft and down into the NEC Crocodile turn. It is. I'm so looking forward to that. I'm expecting a massive battle here, not like we've seen so far, Sash. I'm expecting a lot of chopping and changing to happen throughout this next 20 laps.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think we are in for something. I think the one person who really is going to be disappointed about this has to be Morgan McCall, starting right at the back there. Unfortunately, technical issues. But we do have a full complement on the grid here. Essa, Enselin, Kadia, Claessens, Olifant, Elisha, Gautieri, Wilkin, and Whiting making up the top 10. They're coming into Ingwe. This is, I tell you, people are getting tense. Your nerves are going. You have to keep yourself a cool head. How is Essa going to do this? I predict he's going to shoot off to the left-hand side of the circuit. But let's see if Enselin gets a great start. Here we go, Greg.
Lights out, and we're racing. It's green lights, and we're good to go down towards turn 1, the kink. And it's a good start there from Essa, but it's a great start out of Enselin. The two of them are side by side. Look at the back of the pack as well as they start to go 4 abreast down into the kink. Now as they spread out, there's 5 cars side by side down into turn 1. It's Essa. He's got through. No, it isn't. It's Enselin. Enselin's got the drop. He's got the whole shot. He's got ahead of Essa. Now that is exactly what Ulrich Enselin needed to do. He's now going to have to defend for the next 20 or so laps and 30 and 33 minutes of racing as they come up onto the back straight for the first time. Enselin leads out, Essa in second place, and what a start coming there from Bruno Cadile. Cadile hangs on to third place. Claessens is behind him. He's defending from Olifant and Charles Wilkin. Charles Wilkin's got Rob Whiting and Abs Myers already up to 9th place, getting through there on De Vet, and it looks like also on Mark Antel. So that's how things are started as they go into the Afrios Hesses. It is Essa who's in second place, not where he wanted to be, and he has now got some work to do to try and get ahead of Ulrich Enselin.
I tell you, what a start from Ulrich Enselin. He didn't allow Essa to move over to the left-hand side. He just bolted off the line there and managed to protect that inside line going into turn 2. And a phenomenal start, but Essa now picking up the pace as well. Cadilia right on the back of Essa. This is going to be frenetic 15 minutes of racing. Somebody looking, well, there we go, very defensive from Enselin going into the Crocodiles, and it's very, very close. We're already coming up to the end of our first lap. It's Enselin, Essa, Kadia, we got Claessens, Olifant, Charles Wilkin up there, and I'm just having a look at McCall. Has gone from 25th up to 18th already.
No, he's making good movers there. Unfortunately, it looks like there was a little bit of an issue further back in the field there. One of the cars not quite getting up to pace. I think Hilton Peters had some problems or a technical issue, so the 42 car is out of it. He's dropped off our leaderboard completely. Cadile now putting the pressure onto the back end of Essa as they get into Crowthorne, looking for a chance to find a way through. through the Yuxgate. That's not an easy corner to get right. That little flick black that gets in there. He sets it up nicely. Watch for the late apex here from Essa and the early apex from Kadile, trying different lines as they come out of barbecue onto the short straight. You can see just how hard that white Porsche is trying and looking for a way through there on Essa. Essa hangs on for now. We're on board with him as he goes through Sunset Corner. Great line, runs a little bit wide onto the strip. That's exactly what you need to do. Late on the brakes at about the 50-meter mark, and then through down all the way, looking absolutely perfect here. Great lines coming out of Bruno Kadile as he heads down into the Afrios S's, but he's got some work to do. Look at the pressure that's being applied now. I wonder if Ulrich Ensslin is going to be able to soak that pressure up from two very fast Porsches on his tail.
Yeah, I tell you, it's getting closer and closer, and Cadilia really looks the raciest. But Zahir Essa has found his groove. We saw him in the semi-finals having a couple of issues in his first lap, and then all of a sudden he finds his groove. So watching him very, very carefully. Also, we go on to Jason Absma, who started 12th. He's up to 9th place already. Now he's amongst everybody who's roughly the same kind of pace. You're going to have to be aggressive. Look, he changes his line there, goes very, very wide. He's going to try and get a bit of a toe down through into the cheetah corner and then onto the main straight. But Greg, you're waiting for somebody to make a mistake because everyone is so clinical, so focused, and so concentrated at the moment.
Now, Rob Whiting's having to work twice as hard at the moment to keep out Absmeyer's attack. He's sitting there in 8th place in the Audi as they start another lap and complete almost 4 minutes of racing. As they come down on the braking point towards Crowthorne, watch for the dive there. No, Absmeyer's not close enough, but Whiting also closed big time on Devon Leisha, and he's applying huge pressure onto the back wing there of the orange and white Porsche. Further back, there's the big Bentley of Mark van Rensburg, our downhill skateboarder. He's looking for a chance now to get through on the Audi in front of him of Van Beek. Leon Van Beek hanging on for dear life and losing out. Van Beek forces a mistake there and unfortunately comes through and loses out to the big Bentley. So Van Rensburg moves through. He's now coming up to try and overtake the Aston Martin. No, that of course, that's the Audi. Bigger pardon. That'll be Gutteri. Gutteri trying to find a way through there. And the Aston Martin defending big time there. Van Bergen is just hanging on for dear life. Gutierrez all over the back of him looking for a way through. And then you can see Van Beek has returned the favour and got ahead once again of Van Rensburg.
Yeah, just some unfortunate news. Familiaris is in the pits at the moment, and two of our other drivers seem to have gone a little bit AWOL at present. We've still got 28 minutes of this race to go. There's a long way to go. Nothing between the top 5 at the moment. So we're really in for something very, very exciting. We've got Jared van Bergen 13th in that Aston. Stunning looking car as well, coming down the mine sweep, and then of course making their way into the Crocodiles. 3 or 4 different lines. You can see some of the guys going on the inside and some of them on the outside, all depending on your own preference. But if you do get a long shot coming out of the mine shaft, it is a great place to overtake as well.
No doubt about it. Coming off the second part, I was about to say to our director, have a look at Absmeyer. He's got big pressure all over the back end and trying to find a way through. That's perfect timing there, Brent. Thank you for that. Rob Whiting is in big trouble here. Watch this Porsche. This is top quality stuff. Rob Whiting goes defensive, but the Porsche can drive around the outside and does. Wow! Late braking and drives around the outside. And Whiting gives him a catch.
And
There's another 2 cars
as well.
Olifant and Charles Wilkin have come together. Olifant and Wilkin have come together, and it looks like they've taken out the Mint Porsche as well. So let's have a look at that going down here. There's the replay. They go across the line, no problems at all. The Hulk is there. He's closing in on Olifant. I think Olifant might have made a mistake here. Let's have a look and see as they get down to Crowthorne. This is where it all goes wrong. Coming down on the braking point just dash. I think Olifant's car might just get about out of shape. No, it's not. It's Wilkin. Wilkin went in there way too late. He tags the back end of Olifant and then tries to get going and smashes straight head on into the Mint Porsche. Wow, that's huge. Wilkin's going to be in trouble for that.
Yeah, he is, and he's slowing quite dramatically. He's down to 80 plays. I'm sure he's going to get a drive-through penalty. So, man, has this changed? Klaassen, Leisha, Absmeyer is up to 6th place with all of that carnage at the moment. So Absmeyer really all of a sudden in this race. Don't forget, he started our qualifying race 1 in 25th position. So Absmeyer on a charge, and Ensslin, Essa and Kadia at the front there. You can see, look at the 3 of them. They are all together. What gripping racing. And Klaassen not far behind them either. It's Audi, Porsche, Audi.
Klaassen is certainly closed in, and it's because they've slowed each other up. They're going to fight for first place. It's a 4-way battle for first. As they cross the line again, we still got 26 minutes of racing to go. And Ulrich Ensslin is going to have his work cut out for him more than ever. He's got Zaire Essa coming from multiple single seating championship. And in fact, he was, I think, only second to the championship in Formula V's in one of his career maneuvers. There we go. Claessen's also right there with Cadile. So the three gamers taking on the real racer and the photographer and mechanical engineer by trade. His three lighties at home must be thinking, come on, Dad, we need to win that rig. We want our own rig. We don't want to be playing on your one anymore.
I tell you, Ulrich Ensslin is having to drive so defensively and taking very, very precarious lines, which is allowing Essa and Kadia to even get closer. So Ensslin is heaping on, taking on all of the pressure here from those guys behind him. And of course, they go through the S's now, make their way up to Leopold. Let's see if Essa can get close to the back of Ensslin as we have a look at Clint Buckham in our helicopter this evening. Great drive there from Cadillia. Cadillia has got the long shot here. He's got the whole shot on Essa. Watch this. This is going to be very close. Coming into the Crocodiles. In my opinion, Cadillia's got a great chance to overtake here. Defensive
came out of Pure Storage mine shaft big time there, Sash. He had a big look coming out of the mine shaft. Oh, it's close. That's very close there. I wonder if we can ask Brendan to see if he can try and give us the splits on the screen as well. There's a couple of guys at home asking for the splits on the timing. I'm not quite sure we can put up another timing aspect up there. But as they come out of the final corner, Zaire Essa, Cadile have lost a little bit of ground there. That's due to Zaire Essa going defensive on Cadile. So, unfortunately, what happens now, Sash, Essa's in that very precarious position of having to go on attack and on defensive at the same time. You've got to actually make up your mind as a driver and say, listen, don't worry about the guy behind me. Let me go and get to Oak in front, or let me defend and settle for second. That's not what Essa would be doing. I'm seeing him as an attacking kind of driver coming from the championships he's been involved in. So he's going to be looking to try and close things down. But every time he tries to get away, the pressure is applied that little bit extra from Cadile.
Yeah, we can see a little bit of a gap that Ensslin has managed to pull out over Essa, because Essa was defending his driving against Cadillia. So these two Porsches actually need to sort of try and work together to ensure that they get onto the back of that Audi again. Essa now up the pace again. He's pulled a little bit away from Cadillia, and he's got closer to Ensslin as well. So it's all about getting the groove, making sure you don't miss your braking points, and getting out of the exits as quickly as possible. Charles Wilkin has got a drive-through penalty for his shenanigans, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that's put him out of contention. Yeah, that was without a doubt.
Yeah, Bruno Cadillia has had a little bit of an issue. He's had a couple of mistakes in certain corners, so it's rattled him slightly and brought him right into the clutches there of Quade Claessen's. And not only Quade Claessen's, Devin Lasher right behind them. So Absmeier and Lasher have now closed down onto the back end of Cadillia. And of course, Cadillia is your man in third place. He is on the bubble for the podium. So this is a podium fight now between two Porsches and an Audi. The other two are getting away. And in fact, Zaire Essa has closed that gap down onto the front end man, Ulrich Ensslin, as we go a little bit further back to pick up on more action here between Mark Antle as he dives on the inside, trying to find a way through on Henry in the big Bentley. They come through. Behind that, you've got the Aston Martin of Van Bergen. Gualtieri is there, and so is Mark van Rensburg. But look at this. On board here with Antle. He pulls to the right-hand side to go on the inside line. Can he outgun the Bentley on the brakes? It's late braking coming out of the Porsche. No, the Bentley's better. Just
well,
better.
He's got a little bit wide. I think the Porsche could have him. He's got the better line going up as they make their way into the barbecue corner. Yeah, he's got it. A great move there from Mark Antle on the big Bentley. And now he goes slightly defensive and holds his line. And that's also brought the Aston Martin into play. Here we go. We've got Devin Lasher. We've got Jared. Gee, I'm getting confused over here.
No, it's Claessen's. Claessen's there. Claessen's fighting hard there with Lasher, just going side by side as they came out of clubhouse into the S's, though he had to just give up that position. But now watch for a move on the inside. Maybe he'll go on the inside line, get the early apex. Remember, it's a triple apex corner at the top here, so it's a very, very difficult corner to sort out. And as they get onto the Pure Storage mine shaft, watch for the Porsche to try and get into that slipstream and go for a dive into Crocodiles.
Well, I tell you, watch out. Essa is right on the back of Ensslin as well. Ensslin going very, very defensive into the Crocodiles. You can see Essa is all over him. He's now got a little bit of breathing space to Cadillia behind him. And, Ensslin might slow them all down and bring Cadillia back into the fight as well and put pressure on Essa. That's what Ensslin, I think, has to try and do in order to alleviate some of the pressure on himself that he's getting from Zaire Essa who was the winner of our first race. Here we go. We complete another lap. We've still got 21 minutes of racing to go.
We're basically going to start a normal race for us so far that we've had. But as they come now into Crowthorne once again, Essa closing on the back end of Balric Ensslin. Ensslin has gone defensive literally from the word go. So it makes it very, very difficult to hang on for a whole 20 laps. To defend for 20 laps means that you're giving it everything you can. There's no doubt about it. You can see just how good this is. And lots of comments coming in from all around the world too. We appreciate all the support that's coming in on our various platforms, all from Cape Town. I believe we've even got guys in Saudi Arabia who are watching us here. Now, there's not a lot to do in Saudi Arabia, that I can tell you. And when you're into the thick of it like we are right now, this is the kind of action they would be loving.
Well, I tell you, it is just brilliant racing at the moment. Ensslin, Essa, Cadilia has caught up to them as well. And I'll tell you, Ensslin, I think, is being very clever about this. He's got to ensure that he gets pressure from Cadilia onto Essa to give him a little bit of breathing space. And that's the only way, because it seems as though the Porsches are definitely faster than the Audi. But Ensslin doing a phenomenal job in the front at the moment and holding off the Porsches of Essa and Cadilia.
Well, I did say that he was concerned about the Porsches and how much quicker they were on him. And he did say that he also needed to get to the front as early as possible. It's exactly what he's done to ensure that he can make a plan and get to the front end of this race. Oh, Claessens runs wide. Claessens runs wide, and here comes Leisha and Absmeyer. Leisha and Absmeyer around the outside. Can Quade Claessens recover from that little mistake? Looks like he might be able to. Oh, a touch between the two Porsches. Wow, that was close. Leisha and Absmeyer going side by side, wing mirror to wing mirror, rear wing to rear wing as they came across the line there, very close behind the Audi. The two of them tried to capitalize, but Claessens, I don't know how he kept it on the track.
Well, I tell you, Absmeyer's got the inside line, and looks like he's going to be able to get past the other Porsche as they get through, and now he's going to chase after Claessens in fourth position. So another great move from Absmeyer there, and the man who lost out, you've got to say, is Claessens, who lost out. Leisha actually lost out quite a bit in that battle. Amazing how Claessens managed to recover after that big mistake.
Awesome stuff there, and of course, massive thanks there to the guys, Eden Thompson, Charles Trudeau, and Justin Rolfe, all the comments that are popping in as well. We're loving all of that, guys. Please keep them coming. But as we head now into the Afrihost Essens up towards the Data Sciences Leeuwkop corner, this is a big move and probably the biggest amount of pressure that we've seen from Essa. Essa now is applying huge amounts of pressure, much more than what we've seen all race long, onto the back end of Ensslin. He realizes it's time to go because Cadilia has come along for the ride as well and looking for a chance to go through too. Cadilia doesn't quite get the same line as these two coming out of that triple apex up at Data Sciences. But look at the different line now coming from Essa, looking for the cutback to squeeze out through Crocodiles and then try and hang on to get the inside line for Cheetah. You see, he didn't come across this time. He wasn't close enough. If he could get that inside line, remember we saw it in the sprint race, the big Bentley was able to squeeze through there and get into Cheetah. Now, if Essa saw that, he probably will try the same kind of maneuver. But I think Ensslin is very wary of what's happening behind him and is watching those wing mirrors all the time.
Yeah, I tell you, he's driving immaculately and having to drive very, very defensively. You can see he tugs a little bit in the middle of the track there. Got a little bit of breathing space there, so his line into Crowthorne is actually pretty decent. Essa, now Cadilia getting the pressure back onto Zahir Essa. Claessens dropped back a little bit, and we've got Leisha and Absmeyer has lost his place back to Devon Leisha as well. So great move from Leisha getting that position back.
They come through Sunset now. Watch this. Yeah, there we go. That's confirmation of that one. Absmeyer behind Devon Leisha now. So Absmeyer's got the work to do in the fourth Porsche on track as he comes down into Clubhouse Corner. He's closed the gap down again. But you can see it's going to be a bit of a difficult maneuver to get through. Devon Leisha seems to have him marked and sorted for this time. Craig Claessens has got them both marked. Here's a move. A little bit of a move further back there on the big Bentley. Looks like McCall trying to find a way through on Mackenzie. Morgan McCall trying to get up into the top 10 at least. Remember, he had issues in the first heat. Had to start from the back. He got up a little bit higher than what he was right now, but he now slots himself up very nicely, up into 11th, one position out of the top 10, and then he'll be right there. And around the outside comes Gutteri. Gutteri just in the background, also looking for a way past, and finds it. On to Mark van Rensburg. Mark van Rensburg about to go into his own territory, a downhill. This time not on a skateboard, though, in a big Bentley.
Yeah, and Bentley all of a sudden seemed to be having a couple of little problems. Bentley back to back. There we got Van Rensburg and Henbury and Gautieri and McCall doing a good job getting into 11th and 12th place.
Gautieri got touched there in the background. I don't know if the director saw that one, but Gautieri got spun out big time. It was a big move there from the Bentley, and he just tagged the back end of Gautieri and spun him out into Crocodiles. Here comes a move over second. It's Cadilia around the outside.
This is Essa and Cadilia. Oh, and Absmar also looking for something in the background
too. Oh, that was close.
Essa holds on to his place here. Can Essa hold off the back of Cadilia? This allows Ensslin to push away. It's exactly what Ensslin wanted. He needed the two Porsches to race against each other. And Absmar gets through as well.
On Lasha too.
Sure. This is phenomenal racing.
Non-stop action here, Sash, as we can see between four Porsches on track. Porsches actually doing themselves a bit of injustice here and allowing the Audis that they're fighting with to get away from them. You can see Quade Claessens has been able to get away now from Absmar and Leisha, and the same thing applies to Ensslin, who's got away from these two, Essa and Cadilia, as they come out of the AfriHost S's and head up towards Data Science Corporation's Leeuwkop corner. It's not going to be an easy day in the Saturday for Essa, and Essa was hoping to just get away from Cadilia and put his attentions onto the man in front of him. But he's had to go defensive over the last couple of laps, and there's actually been a few mistakes coming out of Zahir Essa. If you watch some of the corners, he's not quite getting the same kind of lines as he was earlier on, which is why Bruno has caught onto the back of him. Now he goes to the normal line he would take going into the Crocodile, and you can see, look at that, it's about, I'd say, a second and a half that we've got between Essa and Ensslin. Ensslin is doing everything right. It's incredible driving coming out of Ulrich Ensslin to defend for this long. Just shows you the kind of man he is in the gaming world.
Yeah, tremendous amount of concentration, and he'll be very relieved to know that Cadilia and Essa are really fighting. This is also, Absmar is now in fifth position, chasing hard down Claessens. Will he try go for the down the inside? I don't think he's close enough, but watch out for Absmar, because a podium is well within reach with still 14 minutes of racing to go.
If Jason Absmar can get through on Quade Claessens, there's a chance and enough time for him to close down on the top three. So you're spot on there, Sash. I think there's going to be a little bit of maneuvering happening here in the last couple of minutes. We've got 13 and a half minutes or so to go as they head down into Sunset Corner again. It's definitely a big move coming from Jason Absmar, closing on the back end of Quade Claessens. As we saw, and as we've seen all week long, the Porsches just seem to have that little bit of extra squirt on the straights, but the Audis are very good in the corners. So it's an awesomely even match here between the two brands. The other cars, of course, involved in this one haven't really featured, the Bentleys and the Astons, but these are certainly the choice vehicles to go with, Audi or Porsche, as they head up towards Leeuwkop again.
I take a big mistake from Weiss. He was right at the back of Absmar and lost out of his race. He's got Whiting all over the back of him as well. So that's released a little bit of pressure from Absmar. Absmar now can focus on Claassen in front of him. And we still got Cadilia, who is chasing Essa like crazy. But Ensslin seems to have a little bit of a cushion at the moment with 13 minutes left of this race. There we go. Absmar right at the back of that Audi. Let's see if he can do anything from it.
Well, Sash, if you look at it, other than Ulrich Ensslin at the front, it's kind of a two-way battle all the way through. So it's like Noah's Ark racing here. Essa versus Cadilia, Claessens versus Absmar, Lasha versus Whiting, Olifant versus Antle. They are literally within each other's grasp and pushing each other to the limits and over them. So incredible to see Absmar getting down into the 41s again here, but not able to find a way through on Claessens. He's right there with him, but Claessens is making that Audi probably as wide as a Q12, never mind anything else.
I tell you, some great driving. On board with Leslie Olifant, who's sitting down in 8th position. And of course, he's chasing Lasha and Whiting in front of him. Oh, gets an inside there. So a big mistake from Lasha. That's the second mistake he's made in one lap, but it looks like he's given that position to Leslie Olifant. So, yeah. Oh, they go a little bit of touch going through side by side, going through Sunset. That was very ungentlemanly.
Now, Rob Whiting actually squeezed him out, and then he made the mistake, tried to come back, and Olifant tried to capitalize on it. And Olifant's still looking to capitalize on it on the back end of him. The two Porsches now head into the AfriHost S's, looking for a way through. Here comes Olifant. He's on the inside line. He's going to get the better drive up the hill. He might be able to squeeze him into the little kink that heads up towards our Data Science's Leeuwkop turn. And look at that. He's done it. Perfectly placed car there from Olifant, but then runs wide into the first apex. Can we see Lasha come back at him? They're going to go side by side. I wonder if they're going to be able to handle it and have the cojones to go side by side at 230 k's an hour. No. Whoa, Elisha pulled out of that one. He rolled out of that, and I think discretion was the better part of valor there for sure.
Great driving from Willie Front and from Elisha.
Absmeyer's through on Claessens. He's just dived up through the move I said earlier on with the Bentley. He's made it stick and got ahead. So he's up into third place. What a drive there from, up to fourth place, I beg your pardon. Fourth place from Absmeyer. That is an incredible turnaround.
Absmeyer started 25th in the previous race. He's now up to 4th. He's got 10 minutes to do anything about getting onto the podium, chasing down Cadilia, chasing down Essa. Ensslin got a little bit of a gap in front of him, and you can see just in front there, Cadilia all over the back of Zahir Essa. But a brilliant drive from Jason Absmeyer so far. Let's see if he can pull away from Claessens. And a fastest lap of the race for Absmeyer as well.
Yeah, putting in the fastest lap of the race there as well from Jason Absmeyer, so that's exactly why he got through. Now he's got his attention firmly set on these two Porsches as Bruno Cadilia starts to apply even more pressure onto the back end of Zahir Essa. Essa's in big trouble here. He's had to go defensive in his career, there's no doubt about it, but I don't think he's had to fight as hard as what he's doing right now. He can just see the Audi up the road, and this is all he can see in his rearview mirror. The white and blue striped Porsche of Bruno Cadilia coming up onto the braking point here, into the data sciences corner. You can see just how tight it is. Up here, Dirkop. He's diving on the inside. Oh, he had a big look there. Cadilia had a massive look on the triple apex, the third apex there. He nearly made it stick. He got much better drive this time. Watch out down into Crocodiles, because there's a move coming out from Bruno Cadilia if he's good enough on the brakes.
Well, I tell you, the one thing about this is Zahir Essa has had to drive defensively, and that's allowed Ensslin to get away, and his tactics haven't really worked for him. And now we've got Cadilia. He's really pushing for that second place. It's 2.5 seconds up the road. That's how Ulrich Ensslin has pulled out there. So he's very comfortable at the moment. But this is not over for the podium, and it's allowing Absmeyer to get closer as well. So the podium between second, third, and fourth is not done as yet. Ensslin, all he has to do is not make any mistakes, and he should have this in the bag.
9 minutes to go now with these guys. And man, there's nothing in it. 3 Porsches for second and third. The Audi at the front, I think, might just have enough to take it to the line here, Sash. They just don't seem to have anything to try and catch the front 10 man there. But Jason Absmeyer just put in another fastest lap. So Absmeyer is now looking to close things down. And in fact, if you look on his rear wheel and on his rear wing, there's a little bit of a sort of a R8 trailer with Craig Claessens behind him, because it looks like Claessens wants to come as well and have some fun and games with these boys if he can get there and get to these Porsches.
Well, I tell you, Absmeyer is only about 7 tenths behind those cars in front of him. His last lap was 4 tenths quicker than the two in front of him. So Absmeyer is not out of this with 8 minutes to go. We're going to watch him very carefully. Here's Morgan McCall, who started 25th in this race. He's up to 10th position and just got ahead of Van Bergen. So, a great drive from him, but he had a titanic battle with Van Bergen, but has managed to get past the Aston Martin. So let's watch also his time.
Yeah, can you imagine if he didn't have that technical issue in the first race, where he'd be? There'd be 4 Porsches fighting for second right now, I can tell you that much. Morgan McCall would definitely be in there. He's got through on Van Bergen in the Aston Martin, and he's pulled away from him. 141.1's coming out of him. That's basically the same time as our top cars are doing at the front end. But it's just a pity that he had that technical issue. You can see just ahead of him there, Elisha now falling into the clutches of Mark Antle as the second and third cross the line and complete another lap. We are now with 7 minutes and 20 seconds to go in this race, and the 2 Porsches are not working together to try and close the gap down on Ensslin. That might be a strategy they may need to bring into place. Maybe Essa needs to have a chat on the online system that these drivers can do and say, listen, come on, Bruno, let's work together until we get to the Audi, and then we'll go one-on-one, mano-a-mano.
Well, I think I can tell you that Bruno Cadilia must be kicking himself, because if he had gotten past Essa a little bit earlier, he might have had a chance to get closer to the back of Ensslin. But the longer that he stays behind Zahir Essa, the further that Ensslin is going to be pulling away. Absmeyer, I thought, was going to be making a little bit more of an impression on catching the back of Cadilia, but the 2 cars in front of him matching him pace for pace. So Jason Absmeyer going to have to really dig deep if he wants to try and get close to Cadilia and Essa.
Well, he's doing that at the moment. Ensslin is 3 seconds up the road, so it's highly unlikely they're going to be able to catch that 3 seconds in the next 6 minutes or so, unless something goes wrong there with Ulrich Ensslin. And that's also something that we haven't seen almost all week long. He has been pinpoint perfect on almost every single session that he's been in. Remember, as I said earlier on in the show, he was the initial pace setter from the gaming world that set the track alight, and then eventually the real racers started to get into the mix with him. So a bit
Just
of
to
fun
jump
and
in
games
there, brilliant that's McCall getting ahead of Lashes. I mean, he is really pumping in the laps right now, and he is flying. Most probably fastest man on circuit at the moment, in 9th position. But Edsland Absmeyer still the quickest. He's pulling about a 10th a sector on Kadia and Essa. He's going to have to find just a little bit more. And he's half a second behind Kadia. So, sure, this is to play for the podium and to be in the money, as they say.
Oh, we got Skuman at the back there having some fun and games. Daniel Skuman, of course, now closing onto the back end of the big Bentley of Van Rensburg. The Audi up there as well of Van Beek is there too. So a little bit of chopping and changing in the mid-pack. That's the 15th, 16th and 17th place that we're seeing at this stage. We're on board here with Daniel Skuman as they head down towards Crowthorne. The Bentley on the right-hand side trying to squeeze him out. And, that was close. Very close between Skuman and Van Rensburg. But Van Rensburg, I think, eventually just pulled out of the way there, realizing the pressure was coming from the Audi on his inside. Lived to fight another corner, maybe another couple of corners, and come back at him, possibly down into the AfriHost S's.
Yeah, Skuman's got through as well, so the two Audis really doing a great job. Look at this. This is unbelievable. Absmeyer right at the back of Kadia. Kadia right at the back of Essa. So this is fighting for the podium. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Woo! 4.5 minutes to go, and it looks as though Absmeyer is very, very racy. Kadia now having to go defensive. So one of them is going to have to be aggressive here, Greg.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The three Porsches fighting for 2nd and 3rd place here with 4 minutes to go. And not going to catch Ensland. They are fighting too hard. So what happens is you tend to slow each other up if you're in a bit of a battle like we're seeing on track right now between these three Porsches. As they start another lap, it's 4 minutes exactly to go as they cross the start-finish line. Zahir Essa, he is going to have to defend over Kadia and Absmeyer. But Absmeyer, I think, is the most dangerous man on track right now. He has got nothing to lose here. Probably go from 0 to hero. If he can make his way up onto the podium, he'll be ecstatic about the turnaround after all the issues he had last night and again this evening.
I tell you, what a remarkable drive from young Jason Absmeyer, and he's right in the back of Kadia as they go into sunset. Maybe he takes a dive going into the clubhouse. We just looking through the front windscreen of Kadia. There is Absmeyer right on the back of Kadia. Look at him. He's unbelievable on the brakes there as they go into the S's now. Maybe he's going to have, if he gets a good drive out of the second S here, Greg, maybe he has a chance to get Kadia up at Leopold.
Yeah, they do, and that's exactly what he's going to try and do as we go on board here with Clint Buckham on our aerial material shot. Thanks for this one, Nitro. Nitro Air in the sky, giving us a little bit of additional aerial material to play with. The three Porsches heading down the Pure Storage mine shaft and into the NEC Crocodiles corner. You can see just how tight it has been. In fact, as I say that, S has pulled a little bit of a gap over Kadia. Kadia having to go defensive now himself and defend the attack coming from Absmeyer. Absmeyer with a little mistake coming out of the Crocodile, but he manages to catch it very, very quickly. Great to see that as they're going through here. And, he runs wide. Kadia runs onto the dirty stuff. That's not what you want to be doing. It's going to affect those Pirelli tyres ever so slightly. Can he keep out Absmeyer now as they come to the line?
Absmeyer should have him here, even though we've got Kadia's got probably the better line. If Absmeyer gets a good run over here and dives on the outside, he may be able to get this position. No, he doesn't. So he's decided that discretion, the better part of valor. He'll have to wait another couple of corners before he can attack again. We've only got 2 minutes left.
Yeah, we've probably got about a lap and a half to go, Sash. So there's not a lot of time for him to do that. He's going to have to go at some point and have a go. It's either do or die. If you want to be on the podium, you want to be taking the 3,000 Rand that's up for grabs, he's going to have to play for it because it's 3.5 grand for second. It's 2 grand for third. So the 2 grand is up for grabs there between the white Porsche of Kadia and Absmeyer on his tail. But if the two of them work together, they may be even able to squeeze up and get the 3.5 grand that's up for grabs there for second, ahead and away from Essa.
Yeah, I tell you, Edson's got a little bit of breathing room. Kadia's got a little bit of breathing room. They're all on the ragged edge trying to find everything, every little bit of skill that they have to try and complete it. We are probably going to have one lap after this. Ensslin in a comfortable lead, about 4 seconds ahead of Essa, Kadia and Absmeyer. Those are the three fighting for that podium position as they come into the Crocodiles for the penultimate time of this Solidarity E-race, which is coming to a conclusion. What a race we've had so far.
Yeah, I said it earlier in the week. I said we're raising funds for a very good cause for the Solidarity Fund, but we're raising blood pressure and adrenaline here at Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit as well. As we start the final lap, here we go. 3 Porsches for second place. Who's going to be the one that finishes at the top end of this field? And it looks like it's going to be Ulrich Ensslin, who's done everything right. He said he wanted to get to the front and defend from the front. I didn't think he could do it for the entire 20 laps, but he's proved me wrong for now. Let's see if he can just keep it together for one more pass here of this incredible and historic circuit here at Kyalami.
I tell you, he's got a back marker that I don't think it'll cause him any issues, but Ulrich Ensslin has driven superbly during this race. Absmeyer getting closer to Cadilli again. He's got to do it. He knows this is the final lap. They have to push. It's 0.3 of a second. Is he going to try and dive down the inside? No, he's going to go late in the brakes here. He's got to get the exit out of the S's perfectly in order for him to have a chance to maybe attack through Leerkop, otherwise through the Crocodiles as well. There's nothing between second, third and fourth.
Coming out of Afrihost, S is up towards the Data Sciences corner now at Leerkop. You can see just how tight it is. Absmeyer's not close enough to make a move here on the triple apex at Leerkop, but he's going to look to get the drive down the mine shaft. Wide apex on the third part. He's going to get the drive now. Watch this. 3 Porsches and all of them in the slipstream effect. Can they use that slipstream under braking now? That's what's more important. 230 k's an hour in a Porsche as you go through there without a lift. And you can see Absmeyer's close, but is he close enough?
Oh, he's drive.
Bruno Cadilla is so late on the brakes, and he just closes right on the back. Here comes Absmeyer, trying to use a little bit more of the track than what he's allowed to. It's so tight between these two, heading towards Ingwe for the last time. On the inside line, Ulrich is going to take the win. The Solidarity E-race is going to be won out here by Ulrich Ensslin. What a move and what a drive. Defended for the whole 20 laps. And it's Esser in second and Cadilla in third. What a race.
Unbelievable race and unbelievable final lap between second, third and fourth. And here we go. We got McCall coming up at 9th. Can he steal 8th? It looks like he's getting right on the line. I don't even know. He did. He got it. He got 8th place for Morgan McCall. So from 25th up to 8th place, what a drive from Morgan McCall. But Ulrich Ensslin, our champion of the Solidarity E-race. Wow, what a drive. What a brilliant race by all of our 23 finishers.
Check out the burnouts, Dash. Check out the burnouts down at Crowthorne. Toby Fenter's not going to be happy with that. They were told no burnouts, but here we are. We got burnouts properly happening all around the circuit. It brings the Solidarity E-race to a final, and what a final it's been. This is the kind of action we expected, exactly what we wanted for the entertainment value, exactly what we wanted to give something back for the Solidarity Fund. We certainly hope you've enjoyed all this action because it has been world-class. There's no doubt about it. We have loved every minute of the action that these boys have brought to us, and you can see it's not stopping in the background. Ulrich Ensslin is your champion. He is going to take the incredible 10,000 Rand prize purse that is up for grabs there, courtesy of AfriHost, as well as 1 gig uncapped fiber for the next year. That is going to bring his gaming to a whole new level.
Yeah, and I'll tell you the one thing.
From second place here, Esser. Esser, of course, becomes our top racing driver. He gets the 3,500 Rand from AfriHost, as well as the TGN Pro Simulator frame. And remember, the man in second place also walks away with that incredible frame rig that he can start setting up now, probably for his 3 little kiddies at home. And then third place, Bruno Cadillia, is going to get 2 grand. And more importantly, the top gamer right now, of course, is the man who's won this out, and that is Ulrich Ensslin. He will be heading off in the very near future to do an official test with the Universal Motorsport team in their Utinga Polo Cup team. And what an opportunity that is for that young man. He was talking about it in his interview that he did with him earlier. He was one of the guys that we used for one of our promo videos to show how quick these cars go around the track. And he was saying, it's exactly why I got into gaming. It's why I wanted to do what I'm doing right now and why I've become a professional gamer and a professional sim racer. I want to convert what I do on the track here in virtual reality actually into reality, Sash. It's brilliant.
Well, I tell you, the guy can only be ecstatic. What a brilliant, brilliant drive. The way that he soaked up all of the pressure from Zahir Essa in sort of the mid part of the race and then managed to get a little bit of a gap from him. And now Greg has that opportunity to actually go onto a track now with Universal. It's just, I mean, the guy must be over the moon. Plus, he gets 10,000 Rand in cash from all of our sponsors' contributions. What a brilliant way to enjoy lockdown.
Yeah, 10,000 Rands worth of cash, 20 grand's worth of LTE and router for the next year. And of course, the opportunity to be part and parcel of the Universal Motorsport team as they do their official testing for the Utinga Polo Cup. So that's how things have ended up here for our final heat. We're just waiting for Brent, of course, to bring up all of our official slides so we can give you the exactly who's finished where. And of course, we start off our prize giving ceremony, starting first and foremost with the boys that were lucky enough to get into the lucky draw. It was all 137 of them that were drawn. And as you can see there, congratulations to Lawrence Stern, car number 134, and Neil Marks, the marksman, number 68, who both win 1,000 Rand courtesy of AfriHost. The donation draw.
Yes, carry on there.
Brilliant stuff there from the donation draw as well. That, of course, is the donation draw number 1. Davide Favo, your good friend there. I think he is.
Yes, well done, Davide.
You'll be getting the tribute bag courtesy of SLC Travel. Well done to them, and a massive thanks to SLC Travel for all their support, and an incredible tribute bag courtesy of them. And donation draw number 2, that, of course, is the Wink Promotions hamper. It's a 3,000 Rand hamper. It includes water bottles, travel mugs, cell phone chargers, a nice cooler bag, and everything that goes with it. So congratulations. That also going to Gerard Geldenhuys, car number 77. He'll be pretty ecstatic about that. He's going to be fighting with his brother, though, I think, for some of the contents of that little hamper.
And then also, yes, we got the 3 extra prizes because we had 2 which we announced a little bit earlier. So Mario Passetti, this will work for him because he's Italian. He gets the Ferrari chauffeur drive courtesy of Ferris Cars. Well done, Mario Passetti. Werner Hienop, he will get the drive in the Ultima, which is pretty exciting. And Andries Lombard, he will get the drive, I think it's in the Porsche.
Correct. That's how it goes.
There we go.
So,
yeah.
Those are our lucky draw winners. Congratulations to Lawrence Stern, Neil Marks, Davide Favo, Gerard Geldenhuys, Mario Passetti, Werner Hienop, and Andries Lombard. We'll be contacting you guys in the next couple of days to sort out the transport of those prizes, or you may have to hang tight until we get out of lockdown for those prizes to be delivered to you. But we'll do our best to try and ensure that we get to them as soon as possible. Moving on to the next part of our prize giving ceremony here, Sash. The next slide will pop up here. Should be moving into probably confirmation of our semi-final winners, I think, is the next part that we need to do. Now, we did have that slide yesterday, so there, once again, Charles Wilkin is up there in semi-final 1. Rob Whiting is up in semi-final 2. Zahir Essa in semi-final 3, and Alaric Ensslin, each of them getting their $500 for the racing that they did last night. So Alaric and Zahir opened the account already last night with the first bit of the money courtesy of AfriHost.
Yeah, wonderful. I mean, as we mentioned earlier, yes, the prizes are fantastic, but to actually have won the race, I think, the winning is just something very, very special. So well done to everybody who took part, Greg. This has been such an incredible event, so brilliant to be part of as well. And to all of the competitors and those who specifically, I think, made it into the top 100, just shows you how strong the competition is.
It is indeed, Sash. Absolutely brilliant stuff. And of course, if we don't get the slide, I'm not quite sure if we did get that slide back to Brendan, but if we don't, we can just run with the prize giving ceremony and continue with it, because of course, the next part of the prize giving is the main part, starting off with the 3rd place overall. I don't know, Brendan hasn't sort of said anything in my ear about the slide, so maybe we just run into it and do it manually here, but without the slide in the background. Okay, it's on its way, so we'll just run through, of course. Maybe a chance now, Sash, for us to go through a couple of thank yous as well. We've mentioned AfriHost as the sponsor of the cash and the data, and also Data Science Corporation, one of their partners, Pure Storage, a partnership there, and of course NEC Global, who've come on board and I think have got more than what they thought they were going to get in terms of return on investment.
Yeah, just wonderful to have all of our sponsors on board, because without them, of course, we wouldn't have been able to make this happen. And hopefully they've enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed it, and see this as a part of their marketing package going forward. And we can make it bigger and better. And I think it's been an outstanding job, specifically from our technical point of view. The guys like Richard and Brendan behind the scenes, who have been putting this all together and directing all of the pictures to us as well. I think it's been an outstanding job. So well done to everybody.
Yeah, I think also just once again a reminder to everybody that the entire team behind the Solidarity E-Race was put together from the team that comes out of the Supercar Lifestyle Group. Those guys, of course, put massive events together all around the country, including the Cannonball Run and that magnificent Concours d'Elegance that happens at Sun City. Now moving into the e-racing world with this incredible event. The production behind the scenes there, as Sasha mentioned, Richard Raymond, working hand in hand with the guys from the Data Science Corporation. And, of course, our incredible director and producer in the background, too, from EFX, Brendan Marsley, for an incredible job that he did. And he's busy still doing a bit of job, so don't worry about that. We'll get to him eventually. There's, of course, the official race results. Top 23 that's on your screen right now. We'll get to those too. But also, again, to Vanna Joubert from TGN Racing Simulators for the donation of that incredible prize that'll be going to Zaire Essa, to Wing Promotions and to Ferris Cars, and to SLC Travel for all of the donation of the additional prizes and some of our lucky draw prizes that were there too. But to run through there, race results there, confirmation, it's Ulrich Ensslin ahead of Zaire Essa and Bruno Cadile. They will be on the podium. A great drive coming out of Jason Absmeyer, I've got to say, Sash, beating Quay Claessens, Rob fighting Leslie Oliphant and Morgan McCall, and then Mark Ansel and Jared Van Bergen making up the top 10.
Yeah, it was a wonderful, wonderful line. We've got Alan Aldrich on the line there. What a drive, young man. You must be super proud of yourself. Oh, he's disappeared.
We'll
he got so excited and he hung up.
Yeah, he hung up. He's so ecstatic. He's probably got champagne on his phone now. Oh, you like to have champagne during lockdown? I don't know if you're allowed to. He's there? Is he there?
Hello. Well done,
Thanks a lot.
What a fantastic drive. I tell you, there was a lot of pressure you had to soak up there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm speechless. As you can tell, I'm literally speechless. I can't say anything at the moment.
Listen, dude, I've got to say, you set the pace early on. We spoke to you in the early stages of this competition. You were telling us all about what guys needed to do to sort their cars out. Whatever you did certainly worked. I know you were a bit concerned last night after seeing the pace of the Porsches. You were a little bit worried about going with the Audi as opposed to maybe going with the Porsche. But it worked out in the end. And it looks like, even opening the account last night to get yourself the $500 for the semi-final win, you're now going home with 10,500 Rand, 20 grand's worth of data. And I'm looking forward to seeing your expression, particularly on camera, because we can see you right now, when I tell you that your dream has come true, young man.
Yeah,
you are going to test with Universal Motorsport in a Utinga Polo Cup.
No, so it's...
That's what it's all about, Sam. That's what it's all about.
Ulrich, that's just wonderful, man. I tell you, it couldn't have gone to a more deserving young man. You must be over the moon. You might have to wait a while until lockdown goes, but this is something now you're going to be able to apply your skills from the digital world into the real world.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably, like Greg said, it's something I dreamt of since I basically started sim racing. So, I mean, I have to thank you guys for this insane opportunity. So, thanks as all to you guys and all the sponsors. I mean, can I also just give a shout out at least?
Of course you can.
I mean, shout out to all my sponsors, GT Omega, Student Motorsports. We have Gaming Malta, and my team, of course, GT Omega, RPM Esports. And of course, my family. I mean, the support has been massive for this whole event already. So, just massive shout out to all of them. And also basically all my friends. I mean, I think there's definitely so many of them in the chat right now. I have to say thank you to everyone. I can't make anyone upset. But yeah, thanks to everyone. I mean, so grateful at the moment.
Wonderful.
Dude, we're excited for you.
So wonderful, man. Brilliant. So chuffed for you.
Yeah.
Listen, I just want to ask you a little bit about the race, because there was a time about sort of midway through the race that Zahir was really on the back of you. You were having to drive defense, especially going into crocodiles, especially going into turn one. Did you ever sit there and wonder and sit and say, well, listen, if he does manage to get past me, did you have a contingency to know where you were going to try and pass him back?
No, I already know, like from the get-go, I knew if he passes me on turn one, he's gone. Like, that's just how he is. I know he's a fantastic driver. I mean, probably, I'd say it, definitely the best sim racer in the country. And I mean, that was my goal from the beginning. Just get in front at T1 and you have it. Just defend, you'll have it. Because the Porsche, they do run out of tires a bit faster than the Audi. So yeah, I just knew that, stick to my plan, and it paid off.
That was a superb drive. Well done, young man. Really chuffed for you.
Thanks
well
a lot,
done.
Yeah,
Ulrich, a final question from me, but is you mentioned it in one of the early interviews we did with you, saying how awesome it was to actually get the real racers involved in some sim racing. I know that the gaming world has been itching to do this for a long time, and with the platform that we've given you guys here with Solidarity E-Race, do you think that there's a future for this, and do we need to start looking into possibly doing more of these more often?
I mean, I can't agree more to that. 120% if I can. I mean, this already is, I mean, mega. I think even the racing drivers can say this is something new, it's something fresh, it's maybe a part of the future. I hope they say that.
They certainly are. They are echoing exactly what you're saying, but they've loved the fact that they can go up against the world's best gamers. And when I say the world's best gamers, like I say with South African racing drivers, what we see in the talent from yourself, from the likes of Zaire, from the likes of Bruno, from the likes of Jason Absmeyer, even Ghost Bash and a couple of the other guys that have been involved in this little competition, we certainly have contenders that, if we look at what the future of this sport, and it is a sport now because it's that big, is going to do, and potentially with the input that's coming from Motorsport South Africa and events like ours, hopefully we're going to be seeing you guys representing South Africa and winning World Cup events in gaming.
Yeah, I think there's recently been announced that sim racing is now part of the Olympics, which is quite a big thing for sim racing itself. I have competed internationally in major events, but I mean, guys overseas are still at another level compared to us. But yeah, I can see more and more South African drivers trying to compete internationally, and they're doing well. So, I mean, the future for the sport in the country is super bright.
Well, we wish you all the very best for your future, young man.
Yeah, for sure. That's for sure. And he has a name definitely in the highlights now. Ulrich Ensslin, winner of our first Solidarity E-Race. 10,500 Rand and a chance to go and drive in a Uttinger Polo Cup, which is going to be quite spectacular. And well, I'm sure Greg with the Universal guys, we'll definitely get some cameras around there and make sure we make something big about Ulrich's first time going around on a circuit.
No doubt about it, Sash. You know, we handle all of the marketing and promotion on a social media level from the Voice of Choice's point of view. So Universal Motorsport, of course, is one of the teams that I'm involved with. So I'm looking forward to doing some big activations with you. I know that you've got a big profile on social media. I've been sharing a lot of your stuff, Ulrich. So by the time we get into, of course, the actual official test, I'm sure that you and all the team behind you are also going to be thinking, well, I need to go along there, be part and parcel of everything that's going to happen. And, of course, we can then share that onto the platform that Solidarity E-Race has created, that Universal Motorsport have created, and, of course, Ulrich Ensslin Racing has got as well. And then, of course, we just keep growing the sport. And as I said to you when I was talking to you in the first interview, what happened with the likes of a man like Jonathan Machotsi, who came out of the gaming world and has now got a full factory drive with Volkswagen Motorsport in global touring cars. The world's your oyster, buddy.
I've done it. I think some of the sim racers really look up to him. So maybe sometime I would just take him on the track. That would be interesting.
Can you imagine that? That'll be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Ulrich, I wanted to say to you, congratulations once again. Go and enjoy all the spoils with your family while you are still in lockdown. stay tuned for hopefully some good news coming up real soon, and we can possibly look at doing this in the very near future before the lockdown happens again, and hopefully with a couple of new sponsors, or potentially the sponsor we got on board right now staying with us, because I think they are pretty happy with what they've done. And if we can talk them into, I'm sure you'll be back to defend the crown.
100%. Yeah, I'll be back every time until whenever.
Well, fantastic stuff, buddy. Well done, and congratulations. Go and enjoy the spoils of all the hard work you've put in. Get onto those chat groups and start rubbing it in amongst your peers and everybody that you've been racing against. I'm sure you're looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, thanks, big thanks to all of you guys and the sponsors. I mean, you guys made it all possible.
Well done, young man. Well done.
There's the man who's taken it for the Solidarity E-Race, the first round of this championship. Hopefully more of the same, Sash. I keep saying that because I've had so much fun. I want to do it again. I'm just not quite sure if our team's ready to do it and go through all the hell that we've done in the background, because it has been a huge undertaking. Now, I know that the guy in the background sort of didn't want his name mentioned. We'll get to him a bit later on. But I believe we're also trying to get hold of second and third place. And I'm not sure if Bren's been able to get hold of Zaire or Bruno. If they are available, Bren, just let us know. If not, once again, just a reminder, it is 10,000 Rand and a gig of uncapped fiber per month for 12 months that is going to go to Ulrich Ensslin, including the 500 Rand he won last night for his semi-final win.
Yeah, so his actual speed of his fiber is a gig. Man, this guy's going to be online all day. It's going to be amazing. I just want to see, is Zahir joining us? I'm not sure if he's there. We're just trying to get hold of him at the moment, so we are struggling trying to get second and third. But Greg, wasn't it just so wonderful to see Ulrich's? Just so I don't know, emotional about and that win. It was just so fantastic to see. Wonderful. I mean, you couldn't have wished it on a nicer young guy.
That's exactly what we wanted there, Sash. There's no doubt about it. So congratulations once again to him. Zahir, of course, is going to be walking away with 4,000 Rand. 3.5 grand for second place tonight, $500 from last night, and 12,000 Rands worth of TGN Pro Racing Simulator frame to start his next part of his career in this incredible world of e-gaming. So well done to Zaire Essa, a man who's come from Formula V to a mechanical engineer, a father of 3, and also one of South Africa's top motorsport photographers. So he certainly will be very happy with the performance and, of course, the results of that performance, finishing up in second here tonight.
Well, you can also imagine being a mechanical engineer and getting that frame. You can imagine how he's going to build it around and turn it into something quite extraordinary. So, yeah, well done to him as well. It's just brilliant how this has all gone, and just the everyone who's commented on it as well. Greg, sure, my phone's gone. I think it's just about dead from the. From all of the activity that's been going on. So
it doesn't stop the whole way through this. I mean, my iPad's dead already. I'm actually getting a feed from ILEB from Gary van der Spey. He's sending me all the messages because he's also watching the Voice of Choice page at this point, because we've got so much to watch and to concentrate on. You can't really concentrate on what's happening around you in terms of the comments that fly normally what we do on Live on the Drive on that page. But as I said earlier on, congratulations to our top 3. The third place man, of course, Bruno, getting himself 2,000 Rand. An incredible effort from all of our drivers, all 137 of them. I wanted to give a little shout out, though, to Dino Scribanti, due to the fact that he came on with, I think, to go before we shut the servers down. He didn't post a lap. So if we do a second round of this championship or a second round of this race, Scribanti, the pressure's on, but we want to see something from Team Perfect Circle like we saw at the original Kyle Army 9 Hour last year.
Yeah, there we go. So that'll be, just amazing stuff.
Looks like we got Bruno Cadile in the background there, Sash. So let's go straight to Bruno. Bruno, third place for you. But what an epic battle, buddy, between you and Zaire.
Just hang on one sec. I have to mute things here.
There he is.
Yeah.
Have you got your Bruno? Can you hear us? That's all we're getting is smiles. Can you hear us, Bruno?
I can hear you guys. You guys can hear me.
Should we, Sash, if you don't mind, can we put Sasha just in the top right, or put me in the top right? Sash, you do the interview, and I'll do what they do on the president's speech. So give us the 3 shot there, please, Brendan. Give us a 3 shot if you can.
Yeah, there we go. I'll do the sign language.
I'm
going to do this. Yeah, you do this, and I'll do this, and and one of these. And is this going to be who we're going to do? And we don't know where Bruno is. That's how it goes. So there you have
Bruno,
it.
Yeah, maybe you can hear us. We can't hear you, but you still got a big smile on your face. That was just a terrific drive. You did everything you could to get past Zahir, but are you happy? Well, I wouldn't say are you happy with third, but it was a great drive to get onto the podium. Oh, I think he's frozen. Oh, there he is.
No, he's there. He's out. There he is. He's there. Hello, Bruno.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
We got you
yes,
now, brother.
We can hear you.
Oh,
take us through that battle with Zahir.
Oh, it was fantastic. That was a great race for myself. Super proud of my drive. I mean, best bet was just to follow the guys and let them squabble. And they squabbled a lot. And I just kept it behind, hoping that they could maybe go 2-3 wide and I could get my chance. But I really don't want to guys races at all. I just wanted to keep it clean for the stream and the fans. And I'm happy with everyone. Participated. The driving was epic. I really enjoyed myself. Congrats to Ulrich, Zahir, and then Absmai at the end, pressurizing me. I had to keep my cool, but just a fantastic event, and thank you to you guys so much. This was absolutely epic, and I enjoyed myself so much. You guys have no idea. And also the online communities, obviously, all of them. Sim Racing, SA, Dominus Gaming, Races Pro, Sarko, my community where I started racing. Shout out to you guys. All the other guys, Raceface Pro, Race Space, all the SA communities. This one was for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and just please do this again and carry on and make it better.
Yeah, well done.
Congratulations, Bruno. Well done, buddy, and thanks for joining us there. There's my mate. Zahir S is in the house, my man.
Maloney, how you doing?
You were rocking it tonight, buddy. Congratulations. I'm pretty stoked to see that we did get a real racer in amongst the gamers as well. So thanks for representing us, guys that actually do the stuff on the real black stuff too.
Can you hear me, by the way?
We got you loud and clear, brother.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. Don't forget also on the media side. I'm a do-it-all guy.
Exactly. That's what I've been shouting. And then I got lambasted on the WhatsApp group today saying, do you know that Zahir was a Formula V racer? I said, yes, but I was keeping it for tonight because I was hoping he was going to be at the top end of the field and show these gamers what real racers can do. You nearly did, buddy. It was an incredible drive from you.
Thanks. It was very difficult. Unfortunately, the game gave a recent update. And that totally killed my setup that I worked on and was 100% ready for the race. But I knew it'd be fun anyway. So it was a fantastic race. My tires were finished halfway through the race. I'm not with my setup. And I did everything I possibly could to keep these guys behind me. But congrats to Elric. He did a fantastic drive. I couldn't get past him. Could have done a couple of dive bombs and this and that, but I wasn't going to be that guy. But all in all, it was just a fantastic event. I mean, the thing that what you guys put together is just unbelievable in the space of time.
Congratulations, Zahir. I mean, you really been definitely one of the top stars of this event, which has been amazing to watch. Zahir, I wanted to know, in your previous races, you always got off the line and then managed to sort of defend going into turn one. But Alaric seemed to get the whole shot at the start.
Yeah, so my tires were very good for the first 20 minutes or so. And pole is on the outside. And I knew the more we practiced these starts, the more these guys were going to get the jump on me. And that's what happened in the last race. And after that, it was just he was putting the car in the right places. I could not do a thing. So he drove really well. And after my tires were off, then obviously he disappeared into the distance. And it was absolutely a great battle. It was great fun.
Yeah, congratulations.
I'm so glad you represented the media as well as the racing drivers as well there, Zahir. So, a lot of people don't realize that you're also one of the top photographers and media representatives in the motorsport and motoring industry. So from that side of things and wearing that hat right now, although you don't have a cap on like Sash does, how important is it to, especially during our lockdown period, but and moving into after lockdown? Do you think there's a big future for what we've done tonight?
Definitely. This has been carrying on for years. I mean, I've been in the sim racing side for a hell of a long time. Probably professionally, not earning money from it, but at the top level for about 10 years, 12 years. And it's always been there in the background, and people just never took it seriously. It was always like, just this little game you do with your controller, but no one realizes how realistic it is and how sharp you have to be to actually be competitive in the sim racing side. So hopefully this is a bit of a wake-up call to everyone out there, and this is actually a legitimate sport, and it takes a hell of a lot of work to get your setups right, to get the practice right. It really is something. It's a lot of effort.
Z, do you think we've raised the bar with this Solidarity E-Race in terms of the exposure and what can potentially happen in the future of the sport?
No doubt. What you guys have put together here has just been unbelievable. It's blown my mind. Because from the first day you announced it, it was like, what was this? All of a sudden out the blue. And then watching you guys develop tweaks, Richard and Ross, tweaks here and there every day as the hot laps are going on, as they were getting more and more feedback from the public and things like that. It's just the way you guys have adapted. It's just unbelievable. So you guys really, hats off to all of you. Really, you guys put together a great show.
Oh, that's very kind. Wonderful. Thank you. Especially from an experienced gamer, a lot of us are new to it and learning from it. So it's wonderful to get that kind of input as well. So we've got to make sure that it gets bigger and better as we go forward.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, my brother, all the very best, and stay safe during lockdown. Hopefully we've got some good news coming in the very near future, and we'll get a little bit of a chance to have a bit of a rest, and might come back with one more before we get out of lockdown. And if we do, tell all your friends about us and bring them along for the fun.
Definitely. Looking forward to it.
Good job, Z. Take care, brother. All the very best, and all the best to the family as well, man. Thanks again, and congratulations on an incredible drive. Well done. So there you have it, Sash. Wow, buddy. As fast as it's come is as fast as it's gone, bud. Who thought after 10 days we're going to be where we are?
It's just been what an unbelievable experience. It's blown my mind away as well. I didn't expect it to be like this. I sat and went to embrace it. It's always nice to do something a little bit different. And now I'm so excited. I wish I could have my own little setup and start driving.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people out there. And I mean, if you looked at the discussion with the guys who unfortunately didn't make it into our top 25, there is already sort of the forum chat that usually is part and parcel of e-gaming, and guys going, well, you need this and you need that, and you've got to get these pedals and this steering wheel and this rig and that, and they're already sharing the knowledge that will allow them to become bigger and better gaming and sim racers in the very near future. And of course, long may this continue, because, oh man, I am absolutely blown away with what we've done and what the team have done here. And I know that he didn't want his name mentioned, but I'm going to mention it big time, because Ross Crichton, your little brainchild, buddy, has paid off here in a massive way. And from you and the Supercar Lifestyles point of view, we want to say a massive thanks for bringing us on board and being part and parcel of a team that I think is going to do big and exceptionally big things here in the future when it comes to the sport of racing and just gaming in general.
Yeah, I couldn't echo that sentiment. I know my camera is going a little bit crazy at the moment, but Ross, just, you know what? So wonderful to have that insight and foresight to sit there and say, listen, let's just go and do this thing. And what you've actually brought to the table and the way that you put it together is remarkable. And as you can tell, the competitors that we have spoken to, they've all been so complimentary. They're so grateful to have something like this. So it's just incredible what has actually happened, and we'll do it more often, that's for sure.
Yeah, as soon as possible is what we'd like to see. So on behalf of the Solidarity E-Race team, from myself, Greg Maloney, the voice of choice, and F1 Sasha Martinengo, your commentary team, our background team there, EFX's Brendan Marseille, Richard Raymond, Jason Holden-Jones, and of course Ross and his team from the Supercar Lifestyle. All of our sponsors, once again, AfriHost, Data Science Corporation, Pure Storage, and NEC. Okay, we got one more interview. Okay, so we're about to wrap up there, but let's go for one more interview to fourth place, Jason Absmeyer. Jay, are you with us?
Hear me? Can you guys hear me?
There he is. Dude, take us through the fact that you've kind of gone from zero to almost hero.
Well, maybe I am a hero, but I won't say a hero tonight. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good fun, and had great pace to catch up to the front guys. So yeah, it's a bit of redemption for last night with the wheel disconnecting, but no, it was massive, enjoyable, and congrats to Aleric and Zaire and Bruno for finishing the podium. Well done to them.
Jay, in terms of coming from a gaming point of view, we've asked all the gamers the level and the standard that we've put together for Solidarity E-Race. Is this what you guys have been looking for in the e-gaming side of things?
For many a year. I've wanted this since I think 2014, 2015, but it never became something. And unfortunately, with this virus, I mean, everyone's stuck in their homes, and voila, here we go. We're racing against real drivers on the virtual track, and it was massive fun. Quality of driving was amazing.
Was it good to be up against real racers as opposed to just the gamers?
Of course, but the real racers struggled a bit. There's a couple that showed their pace, but obviously I know the sim racers who raced for a couple of years now. They showed some massive talent the past 4 or 5 days. Real racer, sim racer, brilliant talent.
Well, dude, we wish you all the very best, and as I said to both or all three of the top three there, hopefully we can do this in the very near future. There are already, of course, plans afoot to try and get it up and running as quickly as possible. Sash, you've joined us back again. Looks like your camera's all sorted out. Any questions from your side, Sash, for Jay?
Yeah, I didn't hear those questions. Unfortunately, the camera must have saw me properly and decided, whoopsie, that's not a good picture. Jason, I must say, I was so, I don't know you from a bar of soap. To me, you were definitely my driver of the day besides our winner. Coming from the way that you drove, were you tempted in the last lap and a half to maybe dive down, the inside or do something silly? Or is it years and years of practice that you realize that there are rules that you have to just obey with?
It's not a thing that I wanted to do. For example, with Quaid, where I actually dive bombed him, but it took me a couple of laps to see which lines he takes, where he brakes, and then stuck my nose in there. And once I passed him, I got behind Bruno, and it took me a couple of laps to see what he's doing, because he's got the same car, not the Audi. So it was different, but it was safe in fourth in the end.
Well, I must say it was really a privilege, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching you racing. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Well, Sash, you were spot on before Jay leaves. Ross was actually asking who we thought the driver of the day should go to. And I think both you and I are going to definitely be on the same boat there to say, if we were going to award a prize for the driver of the day, and I'm sure we'll try and find some kind of a prize to get to you, Jay, congratulations, because if Sash and I looked at all the driving that happened besides the top three, there's no doubt it would have gone to you, buddy. Well done.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thanks.
Good job, Jason, and thanks for joining us here right in the closing stages. Sash, a last thought from you, sir?
I've just been overwhelmed. I'm so proud and privileged to be part of this with you, Greg, and of course the whole team behind it. I had such a brilliant time. I'm also a little bit speechless. To the technical side for making it just run so smoothly has been a testament to the capability of the people that we have, and to you, of course. I mean, your passion just motivates everybody. So I'm just really chuffed to be part of it. Thank you.
Dude, it's always an honor and privilege to be with you, bud. And the work we've done in the past on Top Gear and on WRX, it just shows that there's a good team that we've got here. I love being part of a team that involves you, buddy, because it means that we step the level up as well from the professional side of things. So from all of us here at Solidarity E-Race, on behalf of all our sponsors, AfriHost, Data Science Corporation, Pure Storage, and NEC Global, as well as all of our subsidiary sponsors, we want to wish all of our racers, all 137 of them, and their families, and everybody behind the scenes, a massive, massive safe stay. Stay at home. Make sure that we try and flatten this curve. And as I said earlier on, maybe we'll bring you some good news in the very near future. But from Solidarity E-Race here at Kyle Army Grand Prix Circuit and all around the world, we wish you all the very best during this trying time, and we'll see you soon. Take care then. Bye-bye now.